just ran out.
Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, the 26th of April, 2026. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today is Zachary Burgess.
Inside, where it's probably going to be warm.
And Robert Kemp.
Inside, playing bowel roulette.
Why roulette? Is that the game you play with your bowels?
That's what happens every time you eat curry, right?
Depends where you get it from, probably.
Well, yeah.
It's more like a one-armed bandit, isn't it?
I think my week has been a game of bowel roulette.
Oh, no.
Well, it all began one evening.
This week?
When McDonald's had a deal on, right? I'd had a running training session that was like later than normal and stuff, and it was just the gnome had already said, it's like, oh, I really don't fancy cooking tonight, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's maybe it's a McDonald's night. And they had a deal on where it's like, oh, you didn't have to spend a huge amount of money to basically get a share box of hot and spicy nugs for free. And I'm like, well, gnome doesn't really like those, but I'll have them. I'll have those bad boys.
Are they just chicken McNuggets, but with
some sort of spice layer on them that makes the coating of the nugs suspiciously red?
Right, like buffalo.
They are actually notably more orange in colour.
I mean, that is true of legit buffalo wings.
Sure, yeah.
They're definitely notably more orange.
I do wonder sometimes if that's actually like to do with the ingredients, or if it's just like we have to put a visual signifier that this is hot in here somewhere. Like, just chuck the red in it; it'll be fine.
Stick some red food dye in there.
Stick some red in it,
just to indicate.
I'm pretty sure that's what the McDonald's approach. Anyway, I couldn't tell you what any of the spice in that is. Then again, I probably couldn't tell you what any of the 11 herbs and spices are from KFC reliably, but salt, probably.
Does that even count at this point?
It's a classic herb, isn't it?
I bet it does.
Spice.
I bet in KFC land, salt counts.
Spice must flow.
Anyway, yeah, those things aren't that nice.
No.
But yeah, they and I couldn't eat them all that night, so I put a bunch of them in the fridge and had them in a sandwich the next day, because it's like, well, I can't let this go to waste. My stomach did not thank me for that. Like, I think my spice tolerance is decreasing.
I thought it had already decreased.
It had already decreased, but like I think it's getting worse. Because I had a curry yesterday that wasn't. It was one of those ones where I thought I was ordering something fairly mild. It was called a chicken tikka risala, like not a masala, but a risala. It's like a masala, but it's got that riz, you know, like
it's got a riz, yeah, very Gen Z masala.
But it's it was a bit spicier than I was expecting, but it wasn't, you know, heavy. It wasn't like sweat-inducing spice or anything like that. It wasn't awful. But oh boy, yeah, I did not sleep well.
Oh,
so yeah, I think that's the game you play with curries and any kind of spice. For me, anyway, it's a game of bowel roulette. Except it came up black both times, or red. I don't know which way. Which is the worst? Which is the worst colour for this analogy?
Well, it depends which one you bet on, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, maybe the actual answer is don't eat spicy things for 3 days in a row.
I know. Slight mistake.
I've never had to. Obviously, some things are very hot, right? If you get a hot curry, it can be somewhat hard to eat.
Yeah.
But I touch wood, I haven't had any problems with eating spicy food multiple days in a row. I definitely do that, because otherwise it gets a bit boring than not to have.
Sure, yeah.
I tend to choose, in your average restaurant, I tend to choose a spicier option.
It's like, yeah, it's annoying because it's like I don't mind a bit of spice. Like in the eating process of spicy food is fine. It's the digesting process of spicy food that comes back later. It's
maybe you should just drink a shit ton of milk afterwards just to try to even it out.
Yeah, do you reckon that works?
No, I don't think that probably would work.
It doesn't just absorb
yes,
the spice.
The stuff is still in there. It's just like that wouldn't actually help probably.
I mean, what is the actual effect that milk is supposed to have, like on like de-Scovilling you or whatever? Like
just something on the taste buds, probably, isn't it? It's just like dislodge the chemicals.
Yeah, You still actually got to process all that chili that's gone into you.
I thought it did something chemical, like the fats like bind to the something or other.
Yeah, but probably to dislodge them from your taste buds receivers or whatever.
It also raises the slight problem that maybe I'd have to drink some milk.
Well, yes, and that also doesn't work with your digestion either.
Well, I'm not so sure about the whole like milk was the problem thing. Like
classic, change everything and then something changes maybe, but is it related in any way?
Yeah, I'm not certain. Like my excessive queasiness at the time was necessarily tied to too much dairy.
The same thing with me and that one shrimp food dish that my dad kept making all the time, that messed me up repeatedly, and I was like, well, it's got to be shrimp, right? Because that's the classic. But maybe it's not. Maybe it was whatever spices he was putting in it.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we proved that with Gnome as well. She always used to think she was like pretty seafood and shrimp averse, and shellfish in particular, like averse, and then she had some and was fine, and it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not that then.
I mean, it was weirder in that for not that much weirder, but like slightly weirder for that shrimp thing because like I'd eaten that many, many times before. It just started messing me up at a certain point. It's like something changed.
I think with me it was sriracha, right? Like I've told the story before, I'm sure. Where I went for a phase of just like I just put sriracha on like frickin' everything. Yes. I loved that stuff. And I think that's what messed me up, basically. And I've never recovered. But anyway, the dairy problem I now have is that I just don't like milk. Right, that's what's happened. It's like I haven't drunk milk for so long that I now dislike the taste of milk.
Probably depends what kind of milk, though.
Maybe, yeah. I prefer an oat milk in my coffee now. That's just how I roll.
But then how much are you actually tasting of that in the coffee, really? Because isn't the point of the coffee kind of to taste the coffee, not the milk?
Yeah, I mean, if I make it at home, it's really noticeable. Like a homemade coffee. I think it's slightly less noticeable if you have one out and about, like a Costa or something like that, and that's not so bad. But I'd still rather, if you're having a Costa, like you have the choices available to you, so you can have their soy or their oat or their any kind of milk under the sun or their quote-unquote ultimate blend milk, whatever the hell that is.
So they just pour all into a cup like our Dr. Pepper construction.
It probably is. It's like a little bit of soy, a little bit of oat, a little bit of almond. I don't know. That's my assumption. Man. Like ultimate blend milk. Because a coffee bean blend wasn't enough. We had to blend our milk as well. Blend it all together.
I mean, that would be the...
Stick some chicken nuggets in there and blend that.
Well, from Costa would be more like a sandwich or something.
Actually, a bit of flapjack in there wouldn't actually be that bad. Probably. Blend it up.
I mean, that's just more oats, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like what Shakeaway used to do, right? Just actually stick a flapjack in there and blend it. Anyway, that's what's happening with me and getting older.
Great.
What's the matter with you?
I mean, you've got the running to stop your knees or destroy your knees or
to stop your knees.
I don't know which one it is.
To stop my knees. My knees are all right, actually.
Yeah, you're fine on the knees. Mine definitely click sometimes when you're getting up.
I think I sit on them awkwardly in my office chair, the chair Zach's currently sitting in, because I think I sort of tuck them under.
Yeah, that was
much,
my problem was I went even further than that, where because of where the legs are on the chair, I tuck my legs right under and put the top of my foot against the top of the leg. Yeah, which does that putting pressure there is not great.
Yeah, my feet really hate that now. They'll if I bend the top of my foot back, it causes me a cramp pretty quickly these days, which is no good. I am not. I mean, I've never been the bendiest of people, but I am so not bendy now. It's not even funny. I should do more Pilates or something. I don't know.
I swear, I get that one cramp sometimes in my right foot that is literally the same one that used to cause me problems in badminton. Do you remember
Right,
that?
yeah.
Zach? Literally the same one. I don't know what. It must be something genetically wrong with me or something that's always been present. Because I was a teenager then and it still happens
Right.
sometimes.
Which one of the foot cramps do you get? Is it the arch? Is it the
Yeah, it must be
toes?
arch.
Or is it the muscle on top of your foot? Because I've
No, it
I've
must
had
be
all
arch.
three, and they all kind
arch.
of suck in different ways.
Right foot arch.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Arch for me is the most common. But to be fair, it's actually like arch cramp. My foot cramps are like the least problematic of all the cramps I get. Like the worst cramps are like the shit like calf cramps.
Yeah.
They are so bad.
And I think
If you want to hear me squeal like a pig at 4 a.m, like that. Yeah, I mean, it is that painful. It's
like somehow I think I solved my like when I'd get those foot cramps specifically, it was always in bed, and I theoretically figured out that was like I just put an extra blanket over the end of the foot end of my bed, and it's like the extra warmth will solve that problem. But maybe that was just a coincidence as well.
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Did it help then?
Well, I think it's because obviously I'm kind of tall.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not super tall, but like tall enough that for the length of my bed, if I'm stretched out extremely fully, then my feet will stick out the bottom.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like, if I just lay a blanket so it drapes over the end, so it like creates an extra like curvature of coverage.
Right, yeah. A hot pocket,
Yeah,
so to speak.
And it's like that seems to have solved the problem. But maybe it was a coincidence, but who knows? As always.
I mean, they always say it's like salt levels, right? With
Well,
cramps.
I had someone be like, you should eat more bananas.
Yeah, potassium and salt and that kind of stuff.
Not enough herbs and spices on your on your nugs.
Not enough KFC.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Get some hot and spicy nugs and crap out whatever harmful.
Yeah, just leave the good stuff inside.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's what a purge does.
So, in that respect, you've had a good week then, Rob, have you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I mean, I guess the eating part was fun. That part was good.
I should hope so. You don't want that part to suck too.
No, exactly.
It would really not be worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely leave hot and spicy nugs, I think. If they weren't free. Can't resist a free nug.
Naturally.
I watched swiftly moving on.
Yeah. Not that swiftly, but okay.
Yeah, not that kind of swift. I watched. Noam and I tried to watch a few more episodes of that Ironheart Marvel show.
Oh yeah.
Because we sort of watched it for a bit and then fell off it for literally months, and we had an opportunity to watch because they're not super long episodes, and it was like, well, we can't, we haven't got enough time to watch the Stranger Things finale still.
No, I still haven't watched that. I got halfway through that series and then just stopped before
I
Christmas.
know. I mean, I'm hyped for finishing it, but that last episode is like a good 2 hours long, and it's like, okay, got to actually set aside some time for this somehow, and that's just not been a thing. So yeah, we watched that. Man, I find that thing so like it's the two sides of Marvel in one show. Like, it has the potential to be something good and something interesting, and then drops the ball every now and then so hard. Like, they seem to have like messed up the universe and what's possible in that universe to such an extent that I find it hard to suspend my disbelief in the scenarios they're crafting. Like, spoilers, I suppose, but I guess she's done this before in, I think it was one of the Iron Man films, maybe, I don't know. I forget the Ironheart storyline in its totality. But the end of it, like, she's obsessed with building this Iron Man like suit because in her words, because she can, because she's smart enough to do it.
Right.
And is, of course, traumatized by personal loss to do it. Of course. But yeah, she's like been working on one with her like at MIT until MIT get pissed off of her enough that she's expelled, and like sort of starts building one out of junk and builds a fairly functional one out of junk in the flying and all that kind of jazz. And a lot of the series is based on the idea that she was scanning her brain at one point in order to do all the interfacey stuff, I guess, with the suit, and that somehow glitched and made an AI. And at which point, like, you like almost immediately have to go, okay, what the fuck? Like, how you've somehow glitched an AI into existence, and that was like such a huge deal for Tony Stark to make when he was building like Jarvis and Ultron and all that, and all of that, like, and you've just like blinked that away in an instant on a laptop somehow. It's like, okay, consumer grade stuff doesn't seem to have changed in the world, except maybe it has in these weird and wonderful ways. Like, it's bizarre. And then later on in the series, she builds a much better suit after spending most of the series upgrading it with a guy who can get black market bionics, and basically builds a much better suit out of a car from the 70s. And it's like,
a car?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
is this Transformers or something?
it might as well be. It's like, you're just like, at that point, like, okay, technology is just whatever you want it to be in this show now. Like, none of it makes sense. Not that it ever did, but it's like there are at least. I like my sci-fi to have some boundaries, right? Like, I'm not going to just take a paperclip and suddenly go, boom, there you go. This is this is a gun.
Thanks, MacGyver / Doctor Who, but yeah.
I took this paperclip, and if you just put it in your ear, you can translate any language. Like, no, I don't want any of that bullshit. Like, I want them to at least have to require some sort of high-grade resource in order to make high-grade stuff. Like, it's not even vibranium or any of that nonsense that they over-introduced thanks to Wakanda, right? Because that kind of started to break things.
I get confused between the different miracle materials, because there's adamantium, of course, is in the same universe, right?
I mean, it is vibranium. Now. Yeah. Because adamantium was kind of like left for the mutant stuff, right? Because that's what Wolverine's claws are made out of. But it didn't really come up in MCU.
It'll probably just turn out to be the same thing.
What if it was made of vibranium instead of adamantium? Well, what if you fuse the two? I'm sure there's probably 20 years of comics doing that already. I'm not the first person to think of putting adamantium and vibranium in the same thing.
Probably not. Like, what kind of alloy does that make?
Right.
Probably something super hardcore. Maybe adamantium is like actually rare, as vibranium now isn't.
Unlike vibranium, which literally everything is made of. Yeah, it's like Captain America's shield and the entire civilization of Wakanda.
Yeah. It's like, I don't even know why this stuff has made me, like, why watching it has made me want to talk about it on here, because it's like, I honestly I'm not in MCU territory as much as I was. Like, I'm miles behind. Like, I still haven't watched I can't even remember the name of the film, like, but whatever the new Avengers thing was, like, the not Avengers.
Thunderbolts.
That was all right. Right, yeah, exactly, because I hear that's pretty good. Like,
it's good because it's Florence Pugh, right? I mean,
yeah,
she's just good at everything.
I mean, I never watched Black Widow either, which I hear is like not a good one either. But
that's not good. It's good if you like Ray Winston doing a terrible Russian accent,
which I kind of think I probably would.
Yeah, it's quite funny. That part's funny.
So I'm so far behind, and I haven't watched nearly half of the new seasons in the last few years. There's quite a few. Like, I'd quite like to watch. Daredevil was cool. I don't know.
Did you watch all of frickin' She-Hulk?
I did watch She-Hulk. She-Hulk was okay. I enjoyed She-Hulk.
Yeah, sure. She's a very charismatic actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a stupid show, but it's fine. I didn't actually have a problem with it in the context of the MCU. It was fine. Like,
yeah, and it had the whole meta stuff.
Yeah, boy, the absolute mental ending of that thing.
Yeah.
Which I also kind of don't have a problem with, because it's like, hey, if Deadpool's allowed to exist, then
Exactly. You
then
don't get
sure,
shit like that
do
in
it.
Star Wars, do you?
Yeah, exactly. It's sure, do it. Like, it's fine. But it's those points where they try and be like semi-grounded, and then, like, as I say, like Ironheart is somewhat trying to be, even though it has got magic elements in there as well. That where it's just like, yeah, it doesn't. It no longer works, and that was put more into context because, for whatever reason, I went back and watched the first Iron Man film.
Oh, the 2008.
Yeah.
Like, very War on Terror era.
Oh, yeah.
kind of- yeah. Extremely George W. Bush.
I mean,
Yeah.
MCU anachronisms aside, because there's a couple of things in that film that don't make sense in the modern MCU, like things they reference, like the whole like military agency, right? Is the 10 rings in that
Right.
thing? Like the terrorists are the 10 rings, and it's like, well, hold on. In Shang-Chi, they completely changed that to be like an Asian
Yeah, they do. They
mafia,
retcon that,
like
yeah.
completely. And it's like, okay, perhaps you shouldn't have done that. That film's good, right? It's like
Iron Man is pretty good.
Yeah,
but that's like spawned the whole thing. If that hadn't been a success.
It wasn't.
then-
Yeah, it wasn't the first in the modern MCU, because technically that belongs to Hulk. But
Well, no, the Incredible Hulk. Is that?
sorry, yes,
No.
you're right. The Incredible Hulk, not Hulk. Yes,
Not Ang Lee's Hulk.
no,
Yeah.
definitely not that one. Yes, you're right. The Incredible Hulk. Yeah.
Don't call me Ang Lee. You wouldn't like me when I'm Ang Lee.
Yeah. Was that the one that had like the walk away ending as well, with the like piano?
I haven't
music?
actually seen a Hulk. Doesn't it have? But don't they both? No. Which one? Which one has Liv Tyler? That's the Incredible Hulk. Isn't it?
I think it
'Cause
is.
it's-
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and it's got Tim Roth in it, and it's still
Yes,
terrible.
yeah.
Which is quite a feat.
And they never. Did they ever bring back Abomination? Yeah, they did, because they brought back
Yeah,
Abomination
they did.
for She-Hulk.
It's She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They actually did go back and do that, which is kind of
Yeah.
neat.
But the Striker or whatever is played by like 15 different people in the MCU, isn't he? Like,
Sure.
yeah.
I mean, and it's slightly jarring, like actually how good Forrest is. No, it's not. Is it Forrest? Yeah, it is Forrest Whitaker, isn't it? Who plays Rhodes in the first Iron Man film.
Right.
I got replaced with Don Cheadle in Iron Man.
I got replaced.
2.
Yeah.
Like he's
And
pretty
ended
good
up in Star Wars.
yeah, he's pretty good in that role, right? Like,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little jarring, but yeah, it's a good film. It's well paced. It's not, as I say, it's grounded like in pseudoscience, of course, but like there's rules and it works, and it's not too crazy. And I think that's where MCU has got. It's got too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but like it's just interesting because, of course, all of this happened before in the actual comics, like where they have to keep resetting they first reset all the infinite universes in the comics in like the 80s, right? Because they're like,
yeah.
oh, the canon continuity is completely screwed. We have to like just reset everything, and then they've had to do that multiple times since, right?
Sure.
And like Captain
Although-
America gets assassinated, and then he comes back, and yeah.
And I think Sony is that's what Sony is probably thinking about their Spider-Man situation on its own, right? Like,
I don't
they're
think
sort
that-
of pulling the cord a little bit on Spider-Verse
I don't
right
think
now.
that really counts as rebooting the universe as just like making a new film. It's,
making
just
a
like,
new film.
it's like you're not really. There's not much to reboot there, really. It's just like we're making a new interpretation.
Yeah. But it's also kind of a sign that it's like, maybe come up with some new stuff, guys. Like,
Yeah.
Yes, but you can't come up with new stuff. It's too late.
it's all been done.
Yep.
But it is interesting that, like, because it did kind of feel like it was going to go on forever, but then there is a law of gravity where, like, Westerns were big in the 50s or whatever. And then,
Right, yeah, and there were
you know,
so
and-
many of them.
Yeah, and then superheroes were big in the 2000s and 2010s, and then there are ebbs and flows of these things.
Sure.
But of course, the executives are like, well, what's going to be the new superheroes? It's going to make us all the money.
Yeah.
There was a moment where it looked like it was going to be video game adaptations, right?
I mean,
With like
it still
Mario and
kind of
stuff.
looks like that. Like, I think we're in the early days of the modern video game movie revival, right? Because we had the
Yeah.
crap one in the early we had the really crap one with Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
And then we had that sort of Lara Croft phase where they might have been pushing in an acceptable direction, and then
I guess the ones that are considered good. I mean, Mario is just like massive and makes loads of money because of children, right?
Right, yeah.
But then
And everyone thinks, like-
Minecraft, I guess, is like slightly different because that's like a kind of weird pop culture phenomenon generally.
sure. And both that Galaxy film and Minecraft film are supposed to be like bad, right?
I guess. But then there are like
But they made so
the
much
Fallout
money.
series is considered good, right? For
Yeah.
example. So it's like there are things that are considered good now.
The Last
that
of
are
Us
video games.
series, right?
Yeah, and The Last of Us. There, those are the examples. I guess there isn't like an adult movie yet, right? Like The Last of Us or Fallout.
No,
that
I
right?
guess you're right. Has there been any actually adult video adaptation? Oh, I mean, aside from all of the Resident Evil films, they kind of fall into that
no,
crap
they-
character. they do fall into the crap category.
They're in the crack category. Yeah, you need a prestige video game movie to do well, and then suddenly they'll be everywhere, and they'll just fucking remake everything. You get a Deus Ex movie.
Yeah.
The trouble is that like what we've just mentioned in terms of like adult video game movies or the ones that were almost good is just like the movie versions just aren't video games any longer. It's just like this is just a normal humans
but that's
doing
fine.
things story.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
like,
fine.
as long if the story's
Well, yeah,
Well,
that's
the
what I'm
underlying-
saying. It's like it doesn't rely on the video game part to make
No,
it
no, no.
interesting in any way.
I don't even believe in the thing that you have to stick to a video game's canon storyline. Like,
Well, no.
sometimes that's jarring, like the Halo series,
Yes.
right? Where it is, like, so detached from what the game was, where it's like, okay, I can see why they did what they did, but, like, it's takes a bit of effort for you to get into what they've changed. Like, there is a mental block if you change too much. But, like, if the world is well developed enough in a video game, which they often are, in fairness, you can put that character into a new story and a new canon and it will still function. Like, I think about Gears of War, like, they probably could actually make a Gears of War show or film, because you wouldn't actually have to do all that much plot making, particularly. Just like if you kind of attempted to do the first like game, or maybe all three, maybe the whole trilogy could fit into a film. If you're honest, if you'd cut a lot of the actual like scenes out and a lot of the environments, and because most of it's just walking through with a gun. But like perhaps the Dom storyline in its entirety makes a good film, right? Like, I mean, just cut that about and do that.
That's
Like,
still kind of just dudes doing things. I mean,
Yeah.
Gears of War does go a little more into fantasy than like, Tomb Raider or Uncharted, where
Sure,
it's just like,
yeah.
I mean, that has fantasy in some ways, but like,
And
it's
it's
just
and-
dudes doing things.
but it's got the visual style like already there, right?
Yes,
It's got
that's where like, Gears
and you
is-
could hire wrestlers, right? Hire The Rock,
Yes,
hire,
well, obviously,
hire Batista.
John Cena.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where you're starting
Yeah.
to verge slightly into like now it's kind of more important that it is the video game universe rather than Tomb Raider and Uncharted, where it's like this is just generic action adventure film.
So I guess we're forgetting those last two Mortal Kombat films. Are
there's a new one, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't think the second one
Carl
has come out
Urban.
yet. Yeah, with Carl Urban, but the first reboot Mortal Kombat film is supposed to be pretty good, right? Like from a pure action standpoint, I don't know what it's like plot wise and stuff, but it's supposed to be pretty good. And we've also got that Street Fighter film coming fairly soon.
I was confused by the fact there's trailers for Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter at the moment.
Yeah, at the same
But
time.
yeah, this is my point. Like, I think they're looking for studio executives are looking for the next superhero thing. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, because the key, obviously, it has to be something that people recognize. That's the main thing to
think-
insurance on making money is the recognizability of the IP.
I think on some level, like adapting video games is harder, not because of the content within isn't rich enough to make a film from. It's that if you want to have that brand recognition and something people immediately go, oh, I've got to go check that out. Like, I don't know that video game players are the sort that also latch on to films in the same way, right? I don't know if there's a cultural thing. It's like, no, I play games because I want to do something interactive, right? That's the point. Like as soon as you
exactly.
take that interactivity out, our gamers is that audience as interested. And it's like,
Yeah,
and
I
I
mean-
would argue, yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's not as transferable.
I mean, that's where, like, theoretically, even though makes it even harder to pull off, that's where theoretically just remaking the story of the literal video game does kind of get a bit of interest, because it's like you want to basically see the video game story that you already like, but like big budget version, like turn it all the way up to 11. Except
Yeah.
now with modern graphics, that gap is like not as far any longer. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what you're supposed to be getting with the comic book movies. But the trick with the comic book movies is that comic books are relatively niche, whereas they managed to take all that stuff and make it for a mass audience who probably didn't read comics.
Sure.
You know?
And the characters are still those characters, like everyone knows Thor, everyone knows Iron Man, like regardless of like they came
People
from
didn't
comic
know
books.
Iron Man as much as Spider-Man.
I wouldn't have said everyone knew Thor either, really.
Oh, really?
Apart from as the god, but like not in the Marvel version.
Okay, yeah, I can see your point there. Maybe not, but like, yeah, I thought they were like well-known enough people. Like,
I mean, Superman, obviously, that's just like that's the one that gives you
Superman,
the in, basically.
Batman, Spider-Man.
Superman, Batman. Yeah, those are the. Yeah,
Maybe the Fantastic Four even would be more famous than Iron Man, I would say. Like, but pre-90s, I mean, like, or in the 90s, yeah.
I don't know. I think I had more. Because I'm not much of a comic book reader, but I'm like well, you know, like at all. But I would have put like Iron Man above Captain America, for instance, in my tier list.
Oh, really?
You're not American.
But like, yeah,
that's a bit biased.
but X-Men would have been pretty high, right?
Oh, X-Men would have been high. But that had, like... That's the difference, isn't it? There wasn't, like, a kids' TV show... Iron Man in the 90s.
There was.
Was there?
Yeah.
I didn't watch that. I definitely watched the X-Men one.
I'm pretty certain there's been Iron Man cartoons. Like,
oh, okay.
Oh, maybe sort of more in the era of Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man. Like,
what, like
yeah, okay.
70s?
Yeah.
Maybe it's as old as that. Yeah.
Okay, maybe. I think before the Iron Man film came out, personally, I knew of it, but if you said to me Iron Man, I would have thought of the song.
Right, yeah.
Played, you know, the Black Sabbath.
Which is obviously rad as hell and referenced in the first film, of course.
But
yeah, I mean, now it's obviously like slightly messed up because Iron Man has that awful Disney show now, like Iron Man and his Iron Friends. That's like
all for kids. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's a parallel to like Spidey and his amazing friends, and they both suck. So
because the reason why Iron Man is the basis of the MCU and was such a great first film or whatever is because they didn't have the rights to their main characters like Spider-Man because Sony had them, you know. So they had to use the one they hadn't already sold that people didn't know as well. And they managed to pull that off quite well. Well, very well. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the future is for, like, recognizable IP. The freaking Mandalorian film's coming out, and it looks bad.
Oh, yeah. I forgot they were doing that.
It's literally, like, coming out, like, in a couple of weeks, I think.
Oh, boy.
I mean, now's the time for the ancient giant bomb reference classic of the Asteroids movie to come back. Because that never made any sense at the time of like 2004 or whenever that was first mentioned.
What was that seriously considered in Hollywood?
Apparently.
An Asteroids movie.
They were-
What would you have? Like the big UFO,
like-
the little UFO?
It's like, what do you do with that concept?
Oh, there was a 90s Iron Man film. It was literally called Iron Man, the Animated Series.
Well, I never watched any of that.
Yeah, it looks vaguely familiar. I think I don't even know where I would have seen this stuff back in the day, though. Like, who aired it? Oh, yeah, no, I remember the look of that. There you go. There's a little shot of it from this Polygon thumbnail, Zach. That is sort of like very flat shaded, like very yellow looking. But Superman sucks as well. Anyway, sorry. I've never liked
Batman's
Superman.
cool, though. You got to admit Batman's cool.
Yeah, Batman's cool.
Yeah, Batman the Animated Series. That was good.
Yeah, it's badass.
That was well badass. Yeah.
It's a podcast about video games.
Video games.
We got there in some form.
Sort of. Yeah.
We definitely did. But now, like, forget turning video games into movies. They're freaking just remaking the video games these days.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've been doing that since the dawn of time, like video games. I don't know if there was like, okay, there seemed to be like, it felt like there was a remaster period, right? Especially when HD turned up, right, and everything just started getting the word, the letters H and D put after the titles. And there was a phase of like, oh, remasters are like all over the place. There's just nothing but remasters, and it's like, no, actually, we've kind of been doing this forever. Remasters and re-releases.
Yeah, but the remasters of that age were like kind of like last year's game, but we've just made a new console, so we want to release it again. It's not like going back to like Ocarina of Time, like we theoretically might be doing now.
Sure, yeah. The HD editions of things were often just that, like. I don't know. I think I played that. But then some of them were a bit more than that. It's like even that. I think to like Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age, right, being that sort of weird middle ground of HD remakes where it's like, yeah, they HDified it, but there was also a little bit of new stuff and quality of life stuff in it as well. But it was ultimately just like, yeah, we turned the resolution slider up, or maybe that Xbox 360 version of Burnout Revenge. You know, where it's not that much different from the previous gen version of Burnout Revenge, really.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
It's like they are literally just more or less putting out the same game, but on a new system.
Those Final Fantasy X HD editions, right? 10 and 10-2, they were kind of just up-reses. Yeah, there was a bunch of those.
But that's not what we're talking about now. Now we're talking about deeper remakes, where it's like, this is a game that came out 10 years ago on a system that was like 3 generations old.
Right,
now.
Yeah. You're talking like the Crash remakes and the Spyro.
Yeah.
Which are technically remakes, right? They're from the ground up, but they're the original game as close as they could make it.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm seeing mostly at the moment is this Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake, right? Which isn't even an old game, really.
Well,
but it seems to be the one of this endless series of Assassin's Creed games. It seems to be one that people liked because they like singing sea shanties, I guess.
I mean, yeah, how old is that? Must be at least a decade old now.
Yeah, it is.
Well, nearly 2 decades old, right?
Is it?
Okay, maybe not 2 decades. Two decades is a long time, but 15 years, right? 15 years feels reasonable.
Is it really that long? I guess so.
360 era, right?
Yeah, it definitely is.
There's only been like 4 more games after that.
2013. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so later than I thought.
That's still 13 years ago.
Yeah, but still later than I thought. Like, yeah. Boy. I think a decade is a reasonable amount of time before you can revisit a game.
Remake. Yeah, okay. I guess maybe enough time has passed.
I think we'll get to a point where that, like, isn't true because video games have the whole technology marches on thing, right? And like the speed of that is definitely decreasing, right? Like, or the amount people care about like visuals,
fancy new graphics,
improving, is decreasing. So the payoff for this stuff is not what it once was. I would say,
diminishing returns, and also. People got consoles. Tech is too expensive to buy the fancy stuff that you need.
Tech is too expensive. People are not fatigued with the current gen of consoles, right? That's the general sentiment. It's like, we don't need a PlayStation 6 yet, right? That's the general message.
I don't know if people are buying the Pro PlayStation 5.
No, just because it's so expensive, right? And it's like, if the PS5 Pro is that much money, like the PS6 has to be at least that, right? Especially in the current market. Like, there's no way. Yeah, it's a weird time for that stuff. It's like, I'm sure the well for remasters is still very deep, but we won't be getting like as many, maybe Last of Us Part 2. I don't know, actually, maybe I wouldn't put that past them. They'll find a way to ray trace that somewhere.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's just become Sony's Skyrim, where they keep re-releasing it on everything.
Last of Us Part 2 Director's Cut for real this time edition.
How much hope do we have for Elder Scrolls 7 or whichever number it is?
I mean,
Where are we up
maybe
to?
it's sort of a good sign that they haven't actually said anything about it yet.
I know, because they've been working on Starfield.
Well,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, but
I
maybe
suppose.
they, used up their bad game on Starfield, hopefully, and then
Well,
we'll learn
yeah.
from it.
Or maybe this is. Well, I don't know. It was like maybe this will finally be the time for the new engine. Maybe.
The new engine.
No.
That'll never happen.
I mean, they don't even have to make a new engine. Just fucking use Unreal 5.
Yeah, but Unreal 5 has... Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, Unreal 5 has its own problems and that are well documented at this point, but
Sure,
like...
but it can't be any worse than Bethesda's shitty engines.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate truth.
Even if
And
they have to
even-
learn a whole new thing.
Because that's kind of the problem with the Oblivion remake, right? Wasn't it?
Oh,
Because it's
sure,
because
I
it's
guess.
actually a lot of the old engine running underneath with an Unreal 5 engine on top.
Yeah.
That actually
yeah.
just adds.
But
to
they
the
won't have that
problems.
problem if it's a new game. They won't have to. They won't have to use old stuff. Except they probably will because they have their AIs or AI bullshit, radiant AI shit that they always want to keep.
Right.
Even though that's half of what makes those games break most of the time.
And of course, you've got the learning exercise of a whole studio having to adapt to something new.
But they're in Microsoft now, so they can just go next door and find someone who can do it.
They're at Microsoft now, so they're going to get fired next week.
Probably.
All those people working on, was it Creation Engine? Is that
Yep.
what they called it? Yeah. It's like, yeah, you're gone. Sorry. I heard, I didn't put this in my news list, but I heard Microsoft were offering an early retirement package for developers that across the entire company, not just game devs.
All right.
Like presumably as a way to mitigate further layoff schemes that are probably coming. So good times.
God. Oh, boy.
We'll just pay you to leave if you're old. That's what it reads like.
Wouldn't mind a set up life like that guy. What's his name that we watch on YouTube? Dave Plummer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like, how rich do you think he is after working at Microsoft? all
Oh,
those years?
I bet he's fairly well sorted.
Yeah.
If not through straight remuneration, but stock.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's basically what Gabe Newell ploughed into Valve, right? Was early Microsoft money.
Yeah.
Similar situation.
But he invested wisely.
Who, Gabe? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got freaking boats up the yin yang.
That's normally the joke about Jeff Bezos, isn't it? It's like, I need more yachts.
Yeah, exactly. More yachts. Well, Jeff Bezos is building freaking rockets. That's the top tier.
Dick rockets at that.
Yeah, dick rockets. Yeah, exactly. I saw they did manage to land one for the first time.
Wow.
Although they screwed up the satellite orbit, so it didn't actually help. Right? What's it called? New Glenn or something? Blue Origin. That's him, isn't it?
Yeah, that
Jeff
sounds
Bezos.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do the news?
I thought we already were, kind of.
Well, we kind of do. Oh, yeah, I sort of segued to it accidentally there. Yeah.
What else is going on?
What else is going? News. Let's stick with Microsoft news and a bit of good news. Get that whole Game Pass thing that happened a few months ago, where the prices went mental. Consider it almost entirely undone.
by the new Xbox head, right?
Yeah, but well, I'm sure, man. I'll get to that in a second, but my opinions on this a little bit. But yeah, at least in the UK, Game Pass Ultimate is dropping from the £23 a month that it currently sits at, which let us not forget was after a 50% price rise that happened last time. It is, I think it was £40 14 or 15. It is reducing to £17 a month, so £16.99. So it's not a complete reversal, but it's pretty damn close. Good news, everyone. Yeah, and PC Game Pass is now dropping from £13.49 back down to £11.
Which I was quite surprised about because, like, Microsoft Game Bar popped up a thing while I was playing a game that's like, we're reducing the cost of your Game Pass subscription. And I was like, hang on a minute, I don't have a Game Pass subscription, do I? And it turns out I had cancelled it by accident.
Oh, shit.
But that was only like 2 months worth had gone through in the meantime, but I was just like, oh.
That's not so bad. But yeah, I mean, it's good news all round. But like, this is one of those stories where it's hard to like. It comes back to the whole Phil Spencer like question, like over what like was the whole rise his doing, and like, and the new CEO comes in and just goes or was it like just. Was Phil played by the AI guys, and then they realized how much damage they were doing to the rest of the company, and now the rest of the company is having to sort themselves out. Like, I don't know.
Or was this price change just like a lingering plan that they had from before AI fucked up all the RAM prices, and then no one could buy new computers?
Right,
so like, oh, maybe we should make the service that doesn't rely on people buying new hardware cheaper again.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That's a really good thought. Yeah, people can't buy hardware, so is now the time to get them reinvested in the hardware they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So, as part of this, they did at least say what is changing as a result of this price drop. And for now, there's only minor changes, and that is that new Call of Duty games from here on will not launch on Game Pass. And it's like, I'm not sure they did that with the last one either, did they? Was that one of the? I can't remember exactly, but did Black Ops? I've forgotten what number we're up to. 7? Is it 7?
Seriously, are we? Wow.
Yeah. Did Black Ops... Because Black Ops 6 was the one I played, I think, that I thought was pretty good. And then 7 was the one they crapped out a year later, that no one likes. Yeah, I think that... I'm not sure COD 7 actually launched on Game Pass anyway. So I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, they've said that that COD from here on is not part of Game Pass.
Wow. Or it will be, but with a year's delay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of still part of Game Pass, technically.
Fair, I suppose.
It's, I guess, moving to the same exclusivity that it used to have on the opposing console. Is that what? Because it used to be when PlayStation had it, it was a year delayed on Xbox, right?
No. So the COD exclusivity deals were for some of the DLCs, I believe.
Oh.
It was always a bit weird, like map packs and stuff, or something like that. Back in the day, like the when crossplay wasn't a thing. I think Xbox got it for a while. They got the updates early, and then PlayStation got the updates later, and then that swapped at one point. I forget. It was something like that. It wasn't like a launch thing. So anyway, that's all. This is all sounding pretty good, especially with like Forza Horizon 6 about to come out. Maybe,
so you can re-up for a month.
maybe I'll re-app and play some Forza Horizon 6. Like this.
I don't want to play that. I want to play that. I don't need to wait for the PlayStation. You should definitely take advantage.
Maybe I'll have to play it with my apparently ongoing subscription.
Sure,
that I apparently still have.
Yeah, you absolutely could. PC Game Pass will cover it, right? And that's probably where I will play it. I'll probably load it onto the PC and stream it to my TV.
Nice.
That's probably what I'll do.
But I'd have to play it with my broken ass controller.
Get the wheel out. It's easier.
No, definitely. Well, I haven't even tried plugging my Sidewinder into this PC yet.
Oh right.
To find out whether that still works somehow.
Yeah, or do you hit the same driver issues I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's one of those things that community would a steering wheel community have sorted by now and done like an unofficial driver.
People still manage to care about the Sidewinder.
Yeah. So there's a few more rumors swirling around about what might happen with Game Pass like after this. And And I find those kind of interesting, right? So one of the reasons they cited for Game Pass going up in price was because they threw in a few other services, like Ubisoft Plus became part of Game Pass, right? And Fortnite Crew became a perk you got with Game Pass, which, you know, I don't think those were... Game Pass got to the point where it's like, okay, it's great that these services are coming in to an extent. Fortnite Crew, questionably, I suppose, because if you're a real Fortnite player, then you're playing Fortnite and you haven't got time for other games, so why is Game Pass for you? Don't really get that one. But for like, okay, throwing in as many games as possible, maybe that makes sense to pulling people into your platform. But you can't play all the games, right? This is kind of one of the key core problems with Game Pass, like to an extent. It's like there's a lot of games on the service, and there's a lot of games that are worth playing. Especially if you're someone like me, like there were always too many games on Game Pass to get through that I would quite like to play. And adding those services and then charging more for those, to me, just wasn't that interesting. So. The rumors flying around is that there will be a more customizable form of Game Pass, somewhat. What's the opposite of encouragingly?
Discouraging.
Discouraging. That's the word. Yes, somewhat discouragingly compared to Amazon Prime, right? With their shitty, you get Amazon Prime, but you've got to buy these upsells on top of it for 4K and...
Well, I mean, so long as they don't reduce the price of Game Pass, but then add all the other services back in with a price. Like, if Game Pass has gone back down to like 10 quid, but then you no longer get access to like Origin, but then that's like 2 quid more to put Origin back.
I don't know. I actually think that's somewhat more acceptable, right? Because I don't care about Ubisoft Plus. I don't want that on my service, so take that couple quid off my
But what I'm saying is if this is the only price decrease that happens, but then they don't, then when they do take out the other services from this point, the base price doesn't go down any further. That would be when it sucks.
Yes. Yeah, if they take those out and then don't adjust the current prices to...
Like if we go
to
down,
suit the degraded.
If we lose EA and Ubisoft and the price goes down for the base pass by another like 3 or 4 quid, then maybe that would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It would suck, but I 100% think that's what they're going to do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But then I still wouldn't mind. Personally, I still wouldn't mind all that much because it's like
because you don't have to suffer the psychological damage of seeing games you can't play
to some extent. Yeah, like I don't know that I would care too much about the loss of Ubisoft Plus. No. I think I would care a very slight smidge more about the loss of EA Play because they occasionally have stuff that might be worth playing, like some of their Star Wars stuff, in particular. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is interesting. If you want Fortnite Crew, maybe you can like take that off your subscription and get it for a cheaper... Maybe that's the thing, like if you want these things but you're already a Game Pass subscriber, you get them at a reduced cost. Is that the draw? Like maybe that works as a model.
Clearly we need to go...
It's an interesting time for Game Pass.
Clearly we just need to follow this to the logical conclusion of just fully going back to rentals and just have each individual game be a toggle. Rent this game for 3 months for 99p.
Yeah. I mean... It was disappointing when they sort of first announced that the lower tiers of Game Pass were losing the whole day one thing for some launchers. But as long as that gap isn't super long, I'm actually not sure. I'm not having thought about it for a while. I'm not so sure that that's actually a huge problem. Like as long as that time period isn't super long,
like a year,
or not even like maybe the like Xbox to PlayStation 6 months that Forza's going to experience, right? Maybe that's acceptable, like because when the PlayStation 5 version of Forza Horizon 6 comes out, it also gets a boost on Xbox because it turns up on Game Pass. I mean, perhaps you can start synchronizing those things. And I'm not a marketeer, but like maybe that works. I don't know.
It's more acceptable for the people who don't have enough time to play these games when they come out anyway.
Right?
Like Rob, for example.
Like me. Yeah, there's too many games.
But that's not like that's only a situation that's sort of a result of your entire life up to this point, where it's like you've accumulated a backlog that's never going to go away because you're never going to catch up to it.
Never going to
So
catch
there's always going to be a delay between you having the opportunity to play new games.
100%, yeah. And I guess if you follow the industry in the way that we have done since forever, like you're aware of like a billion good games that you'd like to play, like at some point.
But then it's like,
it doesn't have to be the new hotness.
Is that then therefore like we're looking at this through our eyes in terms of marketing, where it's like we'd like that, but maybe other people wouldn't actually like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, that's always like we probably aren't the mass market. Like, I think that's a sensible viewpoint, but also we are a market. We're a part of it, and I don't think people like us are all that rare within the market. But we're probably not. We're probably not mass market in terms of that designation.
I mean, realistically, the actual kind of real market for Game Pass is the kind of opposite of us, where like it's people who just play every game for like an hour and then just stop.
Right, yeah. Which there is a surprisingly high amount of.
Yeah.
Right? You only have to look at the achievement percentages to get a feel for that sometimes. It's like, what do you mean only 50% of people got through the tutorial? Like that like sometimes that's like that first achievement you get in a game and how low that percentage is like can be really surprising.
Yeah.
What do you mean? How have you judged the game before you finished the tutorial? Like, okay, I guess maybe sometimes that happens. It's like we fire something up and goes, "What do you mean this is a strategy game? I thought it was a modern combat simulator." Like, yeah. Anyway, Game Pass. Maybe they're turning the ship around. I guess they realised they had to. After all the cancellations they got.
I guess so. See who's going to re-up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got a code for a few months hanging about somewhere, so, you know, I'll re-up for free. Haha. Just when it matters. When there's something I want to do on it. And Forza might be that. What else is going on? We got a trailer of sorts for Splatoon Raiders. Like, not attached to any Nintendo Direct or anything. They were just like, here.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Like, they have not saved it for a Nintendo Direct. You would have thought at this point.
I'm not entirely sure this was a super informative trailer either, really, because they seem to linger. Like, they always do the thing where they linger so much on the, like, hey, what hairstyle do you want to give your inkling? Like,
right.
Every time they, they talk about a new Splatoon game, there's always a sequence that's too long that just shows them going through the menu of hairstyles, and it's like, and then some people in the comments absolutely lose their minds at what you can do with squid hair. But,
right, well, maybe they do it for a reason.
Oh yeah, they know what they're doing, but it's like it's not informative in any way. So I still don't really know what this game is my problem with Splatoon Raiders at the moment, because like, okay, it looks like Salmon Rush because the Salmonids are the bad guys, but in what style? Like, there's clearly numbers popping off of things as you hit them, so it's like, is this just a bigger, more fleshed out version of the last DLC they did for Splatoon 3? That sort of roguelike mode they added to that? Like, is that all this is? And
Raiders obviously implies a certain type of game that's kind of popular at the moment.
Sure.
But whether that's what Nintendo has done or not, who knows?
Well, there's no indication that there's any co-op in it.
They've said it's got co-op.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Apparently.
That would make sense.
That was the news that I saw anyway.
Well, because now I'm more interested, especially if
you can get me to play it.
Exactly, yeah. Now I'm more interested. Anyway, that thing's out July 23rd at a reduced price of, and I've put this in quotation marks, only £42 in the UK. But that is
kind of low for the Nintendo games.
That is low for a Nintendo game, but like, yeah, not that low really. But
so I keep thinking about and then looking at Poketopia or whatever, and it's like, that's 52 quid.
Oh my god, yeah. used copies of Kirby Air Riders are about that price, and it's like, oh, for the love of...
Well, well, I was about to say a real physical copy, but as much as any of these are real physical copies, like of a fairly niche game, I can see that maintaining price a bit more.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. We're getting a Splatoon game. It's not Splatoon 4, but we're getting one. I don't have much of an affinity with the Deep Cut crew.
No,
Like, not as much as I did the Squid Sisters, and I've forgotten the name of the Splatoon 2 crew, but they were definitely
Marina
cooler.
and
Yeah,
Pearl.
they were definitely cooler.
Yes, yes. Deep Cut is kind of the worst of the three.
Yeah. But you can get an amiibo set with all three of them.
God damn it! Still making amiibos.
They're still making amiibos.
You've got to make some use of the NFC chip in the Switch, do you?
Somehow, yeah. Anyway, Splatoon Raiders. Some level of hype. I guess it's also the first Switch 2 Splatoon game, right? So, like,
Yeah,
what will they have enhanced anyway? Is it coming out on Switch 1? Have they said, like, whether it's getting a Switch 1
I didn't
version?
see anything about that.
No. Anyway, Steam Controller has been somewhat accidentally reviewed early as footage of it went online, and people have basically just, taken copies of it and transcribed it and stuff for all to see. And by all accounts, it seems like this is a pretty damn good controller, even if it lacks some of the what you would consider common premium features in more modern controllers. For instance, like the obvious thing that it adds is the Steam Deck-like trackpads. We've known that for a long time from the pictures they've shown us. They work exactly like they do on the Steam Deck. No surprises there, really. They're just useful things to have, I suppose, for the upcoming Steam console. The TMR sticks are also no surprise. We knew about those. So, actually mechanically sound joysticks. What a revelation.
Wow.
But there's no hair trigger settings. Like, you can't do the thing that shortens the distance of triggers that shooter players like to do. So you don't have to pull them all the way. There's no PS5, like, full-on haptic triggers either. And the one that I think has perhaps annoyed the most people is there's no headphone jack for comms. For instance, like, all the modern console controllers have some way of plugging your own headphones into them now.
That's true, yeah.
And this lacks that. So, but the problem is like the lack of those features combined with the reported $99 price tag.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How much is that in?
It's a pricey controller. Well, in pounds, that would probably translate to £99. I don't know. The conversion rate's never great with electronics, right? But it would probably be like up there in the 80s, would be my guess. So it's an expensive controller, which is a shame because I kind of want one. Because I use my Steam Deck docked all the time, and it's like, well, yeah, don't need a full-on Steam machine. I could just get one of these and have the same functionality. So that's mixed bag, I think. Good controller, high price tag is the takeaway. But it's not got enough stuff to and it's not as expensive as an Elite controller. We should put it that way. It's not as expensive as an Xbox Elite. It's not as expensive as what a PlayStation call their Elite controller. It's got some weird name.
Oh, yeah, they do have one, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember.
It's also apparently not super repairable. Like, as in it's not got any easily removable battery, which I guess is also kind of like PlayStation stuff, right? So, some drawbacks, which is a little bit of a surprise, actually, that last one, given the sort of freedom of modularity that the Steam Deck itself has. Anyway, it's I don't know. Mixed bag. Good controller. I guess if you're getting a Steam console, like Dan probably will, then you'll just get one of these things. Happy days.
Assuming it comes out at all.
Assuming it comes out at all, yeah. Ramageddon doesn't destroy any hope that Valve has. There's some cool Steam OS stuff in the pipeline, by the sounds of it. Like as obviously for the Steam console when it comes out, like including work on the desktop mode of it. Because one thing that we've been running into was like the desktop mode doesn't actually have HDR support in it properly, and so that's apparently coming in a Steam OS update soon, and Steam OS has quietly just expanded the devices it supports, so it pretty much supports any AMD handheld you can get your paws on. Steam is slowly taking over.
Well, yeah, let's see. I think they were hoping for a big bag. Let's see. Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Come on. It's got to happen. Maybe they'll save it for Christmas after all and be like, okay, here's the Steam Machine and Half-Life 3.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Are you ready for a miracle?
It's not happening. We're not going Half-Life 3 this year. We're not.
You never know. Apparently it's finished. So
It would be such a... Wow, yeah. What a moment that would be.
it would be insane if that actually happened. Can you imagine?
Who's putting it on their fantasy critic team? Come on, who's going to do it?
I already did, didn't I?
Oh, you did?
I thought it was last year, wasn't it?
Was it last year?
Yeah, maybe.
I forget.
Put episode 3 on instead.
Oh.
Oh,
That'd be real dumb. Let's play release that.
Finally.
yeah, and it's like 5 hours of content
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably what it will be if it does ever happen. Like, at this point.
Well, yeah, obviously.
not
I mean,
gonna-
that would
it's not
be
gonna
just
be
like the other episodes.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, I mean,
how long
even
was
if
Alex?
even if
Alex
half,
is probably like slightly longer than an episode, right? Or maybe the same.
probably the same, I would wager.
Yeah.
And finally, troubled developer Builder Rocket Boy, the studio behind Mind's Eye, are now being sued by its employees for invasive monitoring software installed on their work devices that, amongst all kinds of things, allegedly recorded them while they were at home. Like, and it sounds like we mean like, oh, the camera might have been on at times, or oh, they might have recorded audio and stuff like that off of people's devices.
What?
Yeah, truly sketchy stuff. Which is compounded by the fact that apparently this software is called TerraMind.
Right.
Oh, what a brilliantly horrific name! Like,
Forget Palantir.
yeah.
Becomes TerraMind.
I mean, yeah, I know IT like tends to, for a lot of companies tends to put some level of monitoring on everyone's machines these days. It's awful, but they're usually pretty open about like how it works and what it's actually tracking and stuff like that. Or you could ask them and they would happily tell you, because that's also part of this. Because they haven't disclosed what was captured. They're refusing to tell even the employees, presumably because of the lawsuit. Maybe they're not telling them because there's a lawsuit about it, like exactly what was captured and how it's been used. Yeah, messy. And it's not exactly they're in a great position anyway with the disaster that Mind's Eye was. So, yeah, not good for them. And if that, to quote the Kotaku article, as if that wasn't enough, they're also being sued for mishandling their redundancy processes, which I think happened as Mind's Eye was wrapping, for, not properly going through...
Right, the process. That you need
to treat their employees correctly.
Consultation and all that.
Yeah, all that jazz. Yeah, I don't know that Builder Rocket Boy is long for this world. I think that's a studio that's going to die.
Build a surveillance state, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got for news.
All right, it is time for What Have You Been Playing? What have you been playing, Rob?
Me, I have continued to dive.
You're still not done.
With who? Dave?
With Dave. Man, yeah. This game has proven to be way longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm like 30 hours into this thing at this point, and it's still adding mechanics. Like, it's... I said last time, it's a pretty cool time. It's a pretty good game. Like, I'm trying... I've been racking my brains for, like, how to even talk about it more from last time because of just, like, without going so spoilery. Like, I watched the IGN review of it, and that didn't spoil me to the point where it's like, okay, I kind of knew everything they showed there. But there's an awful lot in that review where it's just like, no, don't tell them that's there. Oh man, no, don't tell. Oh man, like there's a lot where it's just like, you want it to expand and discover what the hell is going on in this game yourself. Like it's because like some of the side content you encounter, like just for maybe an hour or of gameplay, something like that, it's just wildly different from anything else in the game. With a couple of collaborations that are cool, like there's the Godzilla DLC, not a spoiler because it's a DLC item, you know it's there, it's free DLC, was kind of a neat diversion that okay, I'll spoil that one, but it results in a kaiju fight, and it's like, because of course it does.
Of course.
And it's pretty cool. It's like they seemingly have built a framework for this game where they could just kind of slap in anything they wanted and it would kind of work. Like at the end of chapters, they were just like one-off gameplay sequences that aren't like, where they've had to like obviously develop like whole systems or small, you know, this bit of game doesn't work like any other bit in the game. So for a few minutes, you're doing this. There's a rhythm section inside someone's dream, which is just wild.
Someone must have developed that, right, for that like 10 minutes of 30-hour game.
Exactly. Like it's nuts, and you keep running into this stuff. And it's just always surprising and always entertaining. This is a fabulous game. Like really, like just for like just keeping you on the hook at all times. It's like
pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's still, as I said, it's still expanding at the point I'm at now, and it's like I'm now questioning. It's expanding in ways that I had kind of predicted to a certain extent at this point. There were things I'd kind of figured out. It's like, oh, this has to be going this way. Otherwise, why would there be all this extra UI space or there's all this other stuff like hanging around? Like there must be more that I haven't figured out here. But there are some mechanics like that have been there from the start that I'm only now just starting to figure out, like, or that I discovered. Like, I didn't realize that over hiring staff members, so I've got more than I need, might actually be a good idea, because I didn't realize you could send them off to go acquire ingredients, like send them off on little missions to go find the elusive mayonnaise that I've only ever got one of in my playthrough. And it's like, well, I need more mayonnaise. I could make more expensive dishes if I had more mayonnaise. Go get some mayonnaise, minion. Bring me the mayo. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing. I just sort of like I saw it like listed somewhere when I was like in my inventory, and it said mayonnaise and it said dispatch and pots in the sea, and I'm like, what is dispatch? Like, what is that? And it's like, oh, I figured out. Then went into the staff list, and it's like, oh, wait, the word dispatch is there. You mean I could? Oh, what? I could have been doing this entire time.
So this is actually just a failure of tutorialization.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe some of that stuff I didn't pay attention to or just didn't spot at the time. Like, yeah, maybe. But it's like the rabbit hole goes deeper than I expected in a few places. I think the music is great. I think the boss fights are easy, but the scenarios in which they're presented are kind of mental. And also there's a good few surprises there sometimes in what you're fighting. There's a conspiracy, as with a lot of games it feels like I'm playing recently, there's a conspiracy subplot I'm only just discovering, which is kind of fun.
Very cool.
There is so much to love about this game. Like, I just wish the performance on the Steam Deck was a bit sharper. And as I said, like I said last time, and that seems to be a problem that I also encounter on my PC. I've seen footage of it running on console, which seems to be a lot smoother. So maybe the console versions are a bit more performant than the PC version, which is a shame. but it's not taking away from my enjoyment of this thing. Like it's noticeable, but it's not a problem. It's just a very cool thing. And I clearly had a really good day when I bought this and Balatro together. That's all that was clearly a good day in my decision making process.
Strong purchase.
Yeah, fantastic game. I hugely recommend. What else have I been doing? I did go back to Colony Wars. I don't know if I mentioned last time.
All right.
I had because I finished my first playthrough. I think last time I talked about it. I did go back to it to see if I could get the good ending. And I did manage to play through the last act in a way that played out differently to the first time I went through it. And I did get to the super boss.
Super boss.
Which is like a really massive ship that the Super Titan that just sort of uncloaks in front of you in a very dramatic sort of looking thing, destroys all your capital ships around you, and you're left kind of on your own to try and take out this giant thing, which I found completely impossible. I could not find. I haven't been able to figure out the strategy for that. But the problem is you only really get one shot at it, and then you have to replay the whole act. Like the game doesn't let you just replay that one mission. You have to go and replay the act to get back to that point to have another go. And yeah, it might be a good argument for save states if you're emulating it. Let's put it that way. It's probably a better way to try and approach that. But yeah, I don't know how to take out that last thing. I just can't. So I haven't gone back to that. I think maybe my time with Colony Wars might be at an end for now, but it's a pretty cool game. The branching was neat. And it's although simplistic, like it's a neat little thing. I hear the sequel is like from you swap sides basically, and you play as the other team trying to get revenge.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes at some point. But for my retro kick, I turned my attention to Formula 1 '97.
What?
Damon Hill is world champion at this point.
So, which series is this one from? Who made it?
So this is Psygnosis again.
Oh, okay.
But the developer behind it is the one and only Bizarre Creations.
Of
Project Gotham fame.
Metropolitan Street Racer fame.
And Blur.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that Dreamcast favourite, Trick Style. Yes, they made that too.
How does this compare to Jeff Craven's Grand Prix 3?
Right. Didn't they make a Grand Prix 4? Was that still Jeff Craven at that point? Yeah. It's pretty good, actually. Like, it's supposed to be the good one, quote unquote, of the PlayStation 1 era Formula 1 games. And you can kind of tell, like, it's very much like, even from like, you do kind of have to read the manual on this one for a few things. Because some of its menu structure and play structure isn't super obvious, and there are some faults there that maybe I'll get to in a sec. But like reading through the manual is almost a history lesson in what was going on in Formula 1 at the time. Like they do talk about the teams, like and the details that have been going on. They talk about the drivers and and like why the Lola team, for instance, like they could have been in this season, but they did one race and crapped out of it, and then decided not to do the rest of the season. So they took them out of the game because they didn't do the season. Little details like that. Like they don't talk about why one of the Williams drivers is just known as Williams 1. But you can do a little bit of research to find out that it's because Jacques Villeneuve didn't want his likeness in any video games.
Okay.
So he's just replaced.
He
by
was
a
my
silhouette.
favourite.
I know,
Jacques
right?
Villeneuve.
So he's technically in the game, and he is referred to by the was it? It was Murray Walker. Like something, that's all you need to say. Like there's commentary by Murray Walker in this game, and Williams driver number 1 is referred to as the French Canadian. So it's like,
sure,
like you know exactly who he is.
Did you know he's related, Jacques Villeneuve, to Denis Villeneuve, the film director?
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah,
they share a surname, but I guess there's
French
plenty
Canadian.
of Villeneuves out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got Murray Walker and Martin Brundle and, as the commentators, and that, which is kind of like
Brundle.
But it's like PlayStation era commentary, so it's pretty ropey stuff. Yeah. Like it's like, oh my word, it's Damon Hill, and he's hit Fredson.
Pretty good.
And Murray Walker seems obsessed with gears in this game, so you'll be driving around the circuit and it's like second gear, third gear, up into fourth, down into second. Like
Klinsmann.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Just couldn't quite keep it in play.
Yeah, it's like unbelievable. There's a lot of he's done this in the commentary. He's hit the wall.
Nice.
The French Canadians done it again.
They don't do that anymore, do they? They don't have any commentary, as far as I know, the Formula One games, do they?
I have no idea. Probably not. No.
It's quite. If you think about it, quite a strange concept for a racing game, because it's not like you hear it when you're. I suppose because the thing about the football commentary and everything is like your perspective when you're playing FIFA is similar to when you're watching football.
Right. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense.
But for racing games, I don't know.
There aren't many that have had like a commentary perspective as opposed to an announcer, right?
Yeah.
There aren't many that have gone that way with it, and it's. I mean, to say it's effective here, it's not the best. Like, because obviously it's focused on you. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't like tell. I mean, it would be nice if it told you what was happening with the other drivers on the track in particular. Sometimes, and like Murray Walker is actually sometimes your clue that the weather is changing if you've got it set to variable weather mode, and it's like those clouds in the distance look ominous, like things like that.
That's quite good.
So yeah, it dials you into a few things. But yeah, it's. I mean, Mark Brundle's there just to rattle off seemingly random facts about whatever is on his mind at the time.
Right.
It's like
bit Brundleage.
Yeah, you've got to be. And there aren't many of these sound bites, so you hear them quite often. It's like when you're driving a Formula One car, you can't be tense. You can't be tense. Like you've got to relax in there and let the car do the work. There's a lot of like in the middle of a race, you'll just randomly start saying some stuff like, "Oh, they've had to make the end plates like fatter and more rounded, so they're less likely to cause punctures on collisions," and like stuff like that. It's just at random. Get your F1 knowledge in. But the most important thing is like obviously that the handling model feels good. Like obviously it's like limited with what they could achieve at the time, but they managed to do the thing that I think a sim racer needs to absolutely nail, and that is it feels good to just do laps and make that number go down. Make that time go down.
That's really the key. Yeah.
And it does nail that for a PlayStation 1 game. That is kind of an impressive achievement. Like it feels good to do that. Because it's not a great looking game, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like it's not got a blindingly excellent presentation. It's pretty ropey in terms of like PlayStation 1 artifacts in particular. Like they're all over the place, and the tracks aren't super detailed. They get like. Presumably, most of their geometry budget has gone into rendering the tarmac smoothly enough, for a game like this. So you don't.
So does it have a Monaco? Or
I mean, Monaco's in there. I haven't raced on Monaco yet, but it's in there. There's like 18 circuits in the game, so it's a pretty big selection. I guess for a PlayStation 1 game as well, right? It's pretty handsome number because they cover the whole season. So yeah, it also has one of the I think. One of the nicest implementations of a racing line guide I think I've ever seen. Without question. They don't do the whole let's put an incredibly bright, awkward line on the track that you're following the whole time.
You have to turn off immediately. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it depends what you're doing. I don't know. It's nice to have it on in Forza Horizon in particular because it's I don't actually know what the track is because I'm always racing on a different track. You're not learning the track. Right. But in sim races, you tend to be learning the track. So, but its implementation is so good, and actually realistic that it seems actually worse to turn it off because what it does is it draws like a tire line along the track. It blends like darker
Oh, that's
marks into the circuit to show you where the racing line is, where the other car, where the AI is driving. And if you put it in training mode, then it will make like red blobs on the track to show you the braking spots. But it's not like one of those reactive systems where it tells you you're going too fast or too slow for a corner. It's just like, here's the braking zone. To the point where I actually just leave it on because it looks better with it on.
Sure.
And actually, it sort of like turns off anyway if you're playing with variable conditions and it gets wet. I guess it's probably a limitation of how the game is running, but the racing line just sort of turns off when the track gets wet. And it's like, well, that kind of makes sense because you wouldn't actually really be able to see that, like in the as the track dampens and stuff like that. It's like probably an unintended side effect that I actually think is pretty cool.
Well, kind of. In like real damp, you still know where the racing line is because it's actually the driest part of the track.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. It works the opposite way at some point, like when the rain has stopped.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't do, unfortunately. But I just think that's really neat. And it's fun to play. It's wild. It's pretty addictive. You do have to kind of commit to it. Is the thing. Like, you kind of have to commit a session to playing because in order to do a Grand Prix race properly, like, you can skip qualifying and practice, but you don't really want to. You want to learn, like, do some practice laps to learn the track in the car that you're driving, because the cars do handle differently as well. They are noticeably different between each other. But then and then the training. The practice part is. The qualifying. That's what I mean. There is a training mode you can turn on as well. You can have Brundle announce all the turns to you. It's like, and here comes right at the stand, and left at Copse Corner or whatever, like on Silverstone. Like, he will talk you through the lap, which is kind of fun. But like, yeah, if you put it in qualifying is interesting because it's like it's both well done and poorly done at the same time. Because it's like they're trying to reproduce some of what qualifying used to be like. So the old formula wasn't the shootout style that we have now. It was like there's an hour of time set aside, and the drivers could do as much as they could within that time, basically. So the game gives you a maximum of 12 laps for setting your qualifying time. And the manual does say it's like the best way to perhaps go about this, maybe in the harder difficulties, to do the classic out lap, fast lap, in lap, and then get new tires and then go do it again. I just find driving, just drive, just do some laps. It works fine at the level I'm playing, which isn't a hugely difficult level, but it's but that's fine. But that structure sort of works quite well. The problem is like it's hard to gauge the way that works against, like, so if you set a lap time, you have very little idea of whether it's good or not, because you start at the very start of the session. Like, as the timer goes 1 hour to go, you're set off on the track to set your lap. The problem is the AI might not have set their times yet in the simulation. So you only have a partial idea of how good your time is. So if you... because the timer is running, in theory, you could go into the pits, go off and have lunch for half an hour, come back, and then maybe the AI will have set some more times for you to gauge your run against. But there's it really could have done with a time skip option for you to just sit there and just be like, I just want to run down the clock and see what the AI gets up to, and then do some laps towards the end of the session, please. But it seems to be missing that, or I'm missing it. I'm not sure. So it could be a bit of a crapshoot as to how well your qualifying has gone. But you can break out of qualifying at any time. You don't have to wait for the full hour. You can just go, yeah, I'm happy with that. Move on to the race. And then you'll find out how well you actually did. And I'm doing what it calls medium length races, which are 10 lap races, which you've got to set aside that's a good 15-minute chunk of time at least to do the whole race. And if you want, you could do full races if you wanted. You could go and do a full 70 lap
Really?
epic
Yeah.
if you wanted, and it's even the same lap counts that they used properly through the season,
Right.
as well. So they've matched it all. So you could go do that if you want. I don't know. I think it's a pretty competent and quite fun sim, even now, which I found mildly surprising. I thought this is gonna be fun for a quick blast, and it's like, no, I'm kind of in. I'm kind of in. It's good. It is good to play even now. There was a PC version apparently, so maybe that's even better.
No save states for that.
No, you wouldn't be able to cheese it quite so much. But you're only allowed to save after you've done whenever you save your season progress. It only saves at the start of a practice session.
Right.
So you can't set a qualifying time and then go, that's fine, I'll come back to that later. It's like, no, you've got to commit. You got to get it done. Which would be a bit of a shame. I guess in modern days you would do the qualifying session and it would just auto save and you couldn't cheese it.
Wasn't that the problem we had with or you had with one of the later Forzas, whereas if it takes that long, you do the qualifying and then you walk away and then you get less good at the actual game when you come back.
Exactly, yeah. So that exact process happened to me when I was playing the most recent Forza Motorsport. Right, it's again you kind of needed to commit to the session to the race meet in order to get the most out of it, and it was it just is what these games are, I guess. It's you just kind of have to know what you're getting into. Commit to the session. Doesn't necessarily work for me with my current lifestyle.
Yeah, but another game that's inconvenient for Rob currently.
Yeah. But yeah, don't sleep on Formula 197.
Don't sleep for 29 years or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good game. Don't be confused either, because Psygnosis also carried on and did a few more sequels for this, but the developer changed for 98. So it was still Psygnosis published, but it was a different developer behind the wheel. And it wasn't as good. It's generally considered not as good. And then soon after, EA took over and we entered into the EA phase of the games. But there wasn't F1 wasn't exclusive back then, so there were quite a few F1 games around that era, including the F1 World Championships on N64 and Dreamcast, and F1 Pole Position on N64. Plenty of people could have a go at the F1 franchise back then, but Formula 197 has the official ones have all the official on-screen graphics. That's how the HUD is on F1 97. It's the big grey bar at the bottom of the screen with a big yellow number telling you your position. Don't know if you remember that graphic style, but it's represented pretty faithfully here, even with the little label that says Tag Heuer timing.
Naturally.
One of the funniest things is they've had some companies didn't agree to have their adverts in the game. Obviously cigarette marketing isn't there,
right?
But my favorite one is the Foster's ads that used to be flipping everywhere, right, in F1 at the time, and they've been replaced with faster. So it still looks like the Foster ad, but it just says faster instead of Foster's, and it's that's great. It's so simple, but it still works. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. Leave the arcade mode the fuck alone, though, because it's terrible.
Oh, really?
It's one of those ones that, when you boot it up, it presents itself a little bit do you remember Gran Turismo, right? Gran Turismo 2 had a, arcade mode disc and a career mode disc. But ultimately, underneath, they were kind of the same handling model and stuff like this. Arcade mode has a completely different handling model in this version of the game. Plays crappy music while you're racing, which I guess you could turn off. And it has checkpoint timing, and it's HUD based. The HUD is completely different. There's no commentary. It's just a completely different game. Playing it in arcade mode, but on the exact same tracks with the exact same cars, and it is nowhere near as good. Yeah, I think you can safely leave that part of the game alone. If you want an arcade racer, there's better things you can do. I guess it's kind of intro if you want to throw a child at it, I suppose. They'll have more fun with that than they will the Grand Prix, for sure.
I suppose so, yeah.
But, yeah, it's definitely not where this game's goodness lies. And I think That's probably all I've really got for games. Just those 2 points this week. I'll get back to you if I think of any more. But that's pretty much all I've been doing. I did like on a few moments of spare time, just randomly trawl through my MAME library and played some random arcade games. But I don't know if I've got really anything of note that I found to mention there. Other than I tried to play Sega touring cars on Model 2 and found that it wasn't set up properly in my emulation station, so that took
Is that like British touring cars?
Yeah, kinda.
Weird.
Yeah, they did an arcade touring car game on the Model 2 that I think we used to have a copy of at Solar Bowl in Ipswich. I think we had a 2-cab, like a twin unit of it there for a while. It's not one of Sega's like most highly rated racing games, like, but I would have liked to have given it a try, but like I haven't got it. I haven't got the controls dialed in yet. Like I have to do some setup for some reason on the Steam Deck. It's not one of those things EmuDeck has just got ready to go for me. So I might return to that.
All right, Zachary Bedges, what have you been playing?
Well, first of all, I haven't been playing because I didn't quite get to it in time. Shapes 2's 1.0 has happened.
It did.
Oh, yeah,
I saw that.
Shapes 2.
So I should have got to that this week, but I just didn't in the end. Mainly because in the continuation of what was going on before, of every goddamn game patching, after like several years of silence, Mindustry updated as well. So it's like, oh shit, I'll play that. And then that was slightly before Shapes 2 1.0 came out, and I was like, but I'm already playing Mindustry.
Mindustry. Yeah, I remember you telling me that and me laughing at the name, but I could not tell you anything about that game.
That's the one that's like factories plus tower defense, but like top-down 2D.
Right, okay, yeah, with you.
And you're basically manufacturing the ammo for the turrets at a certain point, essentially.
Yes, I do remember now.
But yeah, that updated.
I'm going to look up how it looks, just so my brain kicks into gear.
That updated after a long time without any updates, although I wouldn't have said it as... I mean, it's sort of a major update.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think the main thing that's changed is they're still at this point, even though they added a whole second planet which has like completely different mechanics at one point a while ago, they're still trying to like finish the first planet like campaign mode and all its stuff. So apparently this is what this patch is mainly about, is like more redoing of the first planet.
Was Mindustry free?
On some, like, I think it might have been an IO game at some point.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah, it's like they've tried to continue redoing the first planet again, and I think the main thing that's changed is, well, sort of two things. I think the biggest thing is that they've got rid of the procedurally generated maps, or most of them. But when I say procedurally generated maps, I mean the maps were generated procedurally, but they're fixed in the game. So it's like they use a tool to procedurally generate the maps, but they're not they're not random every time you go through them or anything. So now they're handcrafted maps for, I think, at least all the proper campaign levels and maybe more of the secondary levels. And they're community sourced in a lot of cases as well. So it's just like community maps that have been promoted to real maps.
Right, yeah. Like half of the TF2 maps.
Yes. And then I think the only other major thing that I think changed in this patch is like the difficulty options became a bit more like precise in what you could change. So now there's general difficulty, which is like how many enemies spawn and how much health they have and that kind of stuff. But then there's specific toggles that you turn on and off. And I think the big one that's changed in its default setting is they've turned off like enemy counterattacks. Because previously when you finish a level, because you have to survive a certain number of waves on a map to finish that map. And then you could just like spend as much time as you wanted there rejiggering your factory to export materials, basically, instead of only supplying the turrets. But then previously it was set up so that randomly maps that you'd already won but were adjacent to enemy occupied maps could sometimes come under attack again, and then you'd have to survive another few waves on that map but with even harder enemies to continue to hold that map.
Right, okay.
But they've kind of decided that maybe that was a bit much and a bit hard, so they've said it's an option that you can still turn on, but it's off by default now.
Right, okay.
Which that game can be pretty hard.
Sort of like enemies' revenge. Like
Well,
mode.
yeah. I mean, I think maybe the bigger problem with that is it just meant you were playing the same map a lot because it's like you had to keep going back to maps you'd already played.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe that wasn't so bad when there were more of the procedurally generated maps and not like the specifically designed maps, because it's like you don't notice it as much if it's not a. Well, I guess you'd also notice it quite a lot more if it was a non-procedurally generated map as well.
I mean, I guess if it was a single playthrough, it wouldn't be so much of a problem. But if you're doing it again, then you'd notice.
So yeah, I played some out of that. Not actually that much, I guess, because that game can absorb quite a lot of time. Also, I guess another change that I didn't get to, but it sounds like it might be quite major, is actually the exporting the resources from the maps thing. Because previously, the idea, once you'd won a map, you could change your factory to like export as much materials as possible, because that goes into like your global reserve, basically.
You wouldn't have a need to necessarily build that space up.
Yeah. But then, in the way it worked well, I think this bit might still be true, but you can, as you progress through the campaign, obviously you unlock new technology, so you can go back to previous maps and actually improve them as well.
Okay.
Like improve their exports to higher technology materials or whatever. But I think what's changed is that, like, the way it used to work is you'd build launch pads on maps that you'd completed, and those would just launch the materials into, like, your current base? No, you could target what map they were sending them to. So if you just started a new map, you could go back to the global map view and just basically retarget all your launch pads to send all the materials to where you currently were. So you'd be getting all your best materials as quickly as possible, basically.
Right, yeah.
And I think now they've changed it so you actually also have to build a receiving pad, not just... So you actually have to get a certain amount of resources progress on the map you're currently playing before you can start doing those.
A lot of the start of a map isn't free.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Although there's still quite a lot of free, because the actual like main building that launches has a reserve of materials as well. So you're still getting that amount of materials to take with you.
Right.
But maybe not like the super high quality best materials every time.
Sure.
So yeah, I played some of that. But I don't know if I'm going to continue to play that. I think I'd probably prefer to play Shapes 2 at this point.
That is currently $10 on Steam, but a name your price on itch.io. And
Right.
the itch.io is up to date, apparently. So,
Yeah. I did vaguely remember that. So yeah, and then Shapes 2 update, well, I'll get to that when I get to that. But then the other thing that updated, not in relation to every goddamn game updating in my Steam list, but it was time for the next Endfield patch, obviously.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's like, go back in there.
So what did they add this time? Was it actually more story content?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I'm talking about the Endfield patches, I do mean the big, like, 6-week patch schedule where they do the next chunk of story and map.
Right, yeah.
And
the reason to return.
Yes. And in this case, also a chunk of the factory as well. Like the third tier of this factory's research tree. The second map's factory, third tier, which is like the last tier. And it's actually... for real, actually getting kind of complicated now in a way that I didn't think it would, because I was like, this is like, the factory is the side stuff of this game, right? Because it's meant to be the third-person capture action combat game thing.
Sure.
But like, the factory is actually getting kind of complicated, although they do mitigate that quite a lot, because every time you unlock a new technology in the tech tree, there's a full, like... simulation that you can go into and just see how it works. So they give you like an individual tutorial for each of the buildings, basically. And in quite a lot of those cases, when you complete that simulation, they also just give you a blueprint. So you can just be like, if you don't really want to play the factory, you can just be like, oh, I've got the blueprint that just makes the thing I need, and I just put it down, and then I don't need to worry about it. It will get me the things that I require to get through the story, but maybe not 100% as efficient as it could be if you design them yourself or whatever. But yeah, the actual factory stuff is getting kind of complicated, where it's like, now we're at the point where you're getting like byproducts that you have to loop back into previous steps in the production chain, and like the chemical reactor type building that can do several different recipes at once, assuming you're feeding it the right stuff, but you only have a limited number of input and output ports. So you have to like, if I can get enough intermediate steps inside this one building by feeding it the right stuff, I can save on building like 4 of these instead.
It occurs to me I haven't asked how you're playing this game? Obviously on PC,
Yes.
but so are you doing the character action stuff on controller?
No,
and
mouse.
You're doing it all on mouse. Okay.
Yes, I did actually look at the controller controls, and it seems kind of difficult.
Right.
Because so on the way you're activating the skills and stuff, you're holding down the mouse button to do the basic attacks, which is like, that's just fine. That's just another button on controller. And then because you have 4 team members on PC, you're just pushing like 1, 2, 3, and 4 for each of those individual team members' skills. But on controller, for some reason, I feel like they should have had enough buttons to get around this. But when you're holding down a button to do your regular continuous attack, but then you have to like hold down L1 and then push one of the 4 face buttons to do the individual.
Oh, okay. Well, that
character attacks.
Yeah, that doesn't seem awful. Like a trigger to pull up a radial to do it.
Yes, but like I don't know why that needs the one extra hold button. Like, do you not have enough buttons on the controller that can just be a one press somewhere else?
Maybe I'm tainted by how much Hyrule Warriors we've been playing, but like that doesn't feel too.
Sure,
that doesn't feel too bad to do.
But you're doing it a lot more than Hyrule Warriors,
right? Yeah.
And then if you want to switch which character you're controlling, that's on like the D-pad arrow directions for the 4 different characters.
Okay, well that kind of makes sense.
And then if you're doing the ultimate, you're already holding it's the same as the PC, where on the PC you just hold down the relevant number button. So you're doing the hold trigger and hold the face button of that character.
And it does that character's ultimate.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, that sounds kind of difficult. And who fucking knows how it controls on mobile?
Right, yeah.
Because that's a whole other thing. Presumably it's just on-screen buttons, like where the icons are on PC are probably actually just literally buttons.
Touch it. Yeah, you just mush it with your palm now, kind of thing.
So yeah, I played some more of that and got through the next chunk of the story, which weirdly doesn't even seem like the end of the second map. I mean, we have only literally just in this patch got the 3rd tier of the second map's factory, so maybe they need to spend slightly more time with that before they move into a completely new factory on the 3rd map, presumably.
Right, so your factory doesn't carry over between areas, or like?
No, it just like stays there. So once you've optimized one area, you don't really have to go back to it, essentially.
Right, and it still churns, like.
Yes, although that's going to be weird because this is a thing that's been in the UI for ages but hasn't been relevant yet because there's only been 2 maps. But supposedly the factories will only continue to run offline of the last 2 maps you visited.
Oh, okay.
So once we're into the 3rd map, you're only going to have 2 of your factories being on at the same time, basically.
Yeah. I wonder if you just get to a point where it's like, well, any of the stuff the first map could make is irrelevant anyway. Yeah.
Yes, that is probably how that's going to go. But yeah, the other thing that was weird about this patch is I sort of mentioned before how I was wondering about the potential longevity of this game, where it's like they're released in 6 weeks. It's like 2 characters and then like 3 hours of actual content, and I was like that ratio seemed a bit iffy. I mean, obviously the characters are how they make money, so maybe it's not actually a problem. Yeah. Maybe people are only looking for the characters and they don't really care about how much content there is for those characters.
Maybe, yeah.
Who knows what the whale economy is actually like. But in
as long as you can change their squid hairstyles, it's
all fine. Exactly. But the thing about this patch is that there's only 1 character this time, and they're rerunning an old character in essentially the 2nd slot.
Oh, okay. That's bound to happen.
Well, that's bound to happen, but I feel like this is kind of too soon for them to already be rerunning. It's like, have they run out of like ideas for characters already or something? I don't think that's actually the case. I think it might just be a sort of timing thing of like where we are in the story, because we're quite close to the end of the 2nd map, so there's not been any like new characters to become characters that have been introduced.
Yeah.
Except there has, because in this chunk of story a new character gets introduced. Although, funnily enough, it was always kind of a spoiler, because this new character turns up in the story, but they're not a character that you're going to get in one of the 2 character roles, and I'm like, oh, she's going to die then, isn't she?
Oh, right.
Not quite, though. She only gets trapped in an ultimate dimension for a while.
Spoilers!
But yeah, that was kind of weird. But yeah, the one new character was kind of the one that everyone was waiting for. It was like the really obvious character that was going to happen, because it's like, well, you can sort of tell, because it's like, oh, here's the characters who have actual design, so it must be these characters are going to become real characters. You're not going to waste all that effort in designing a character and not have them be a character.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it turns out it was just the leader of the city. You already had the leader of the bandit camp that became a character, and now you've got the leader of the city who becomes a character as well.
That's kind of the classic trope with these games at all. It's like, oh, that person is elaborately dressed.
Yes, it's the classic,
we must be seeing more of them.
It's the classic, how do you tell which units are going to become recruitable in Fire Emblem? Where it's like they have a sprite.
Yeah.
But yes, this leader of the city character is pretty fucking ridiculous and fairly powerful. It's all lightning character, thankfully, not ice.
Nice.
Although, admittedly, it's another lightning character that's sort of, again, like the first lightning team I talked about, kind of relies on consuming the lightning afflictions rather than being the one that applies them. So you're basically using the exact same lightning team again, except with the lead character swapped out, because it's still the same combo, essentially.
Yeah, you still need your
other characters to set up the lightning, basically. And I thought she was going to operate like Thunderblight Cannon in Breath of the Wild, where you have the lightning rods, and then the lightning hits them, like the metal rods.
Oh, okay. What?
Oh, yeah.
So you would have had to have placed
the rods down.
and then...
But it turns out that that's just sort of a visual indicator of the ramp up of her skill, because when you trigger her active skill, it consumes the electricity effect off the enemy and spawns swords that are lightning conductors, except the lightning doesn't actually hit them. That's just more like a visual representation of how ramped up that combo is.
Okay.
So
there'll be more swords if you've done it.
If you've done it more, if you've built up enough swords over time to make it more powerful every time you cast it, basically.
Gotcha.
Which is a shame, because that would have been a real powerful area of effect attack, but it's all focused on one enemy when you cast it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was too powerful.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's already fucking ridiculous. Her ultimate is where it gets really ridiculous, because when you trigger her ultimate, it's a form change ultimate, so she just becomes like powered up for 30 seconds. Huh. And then while you're powered up, the first time you cast the battle skill is free, so it doesn't use skill points, and your combo gets like basically 0 cooldown.
Oh, neat.
So what in the team I have at the moment, I also have another lightning character who has a short but not as short combo cooldown, but it's timed almost perfectly, so you just bounce between them. So you just keep triggering the lightning strikes with the swords, and because you're triggering them faster than usual, you're overcoming the decay timer of the swords. So you immediately max out how many swords you can have, which is like 9. So you're getting the maximum damage on that attack. And that attack is just powered up from the ultimate anyway. So, the screen just fills with lightning and everything explodes.
Does the frame rate dip like a lightning attack?
No, it's totally fine.
Okay, good.
It's not nearly like Hyrule Warriors.
Where lightning is just the killer of frames.
Yeah. And she also has a...
Although, in fairness to Hyrule Warriors, last time we played it, we did create some fairly wild lightning...
Well, the second one, yes.
Yeah, lightning effects. And it kind of held its ground.
Yeah. They seem to have sort of solved that problem.
Yeah.
And she also has a kind of dumb but kind of cool, her finisher move against staggered enemies is the cool guys don't look at the explosions, where she just turns away and then the lightning hits them.
Of course. Excellent.
Although that's cool if you can do that for the last enemy in a fight, so it goes back into her idle pose afterwards.
Oh yeah, she's just like, damn. That's cool.
And that also reminded me that I want something I kind of mentioned about the look of this game is there's a shit ton of extra animations in this thing, and maybe that's not an unusual thing for this kind of game especially, and for modern games in general, I guess, but when you're in the menus and you have the different tabs for equipment and weapons and stuff, there's an in animation and an out animation on the character for every one of those menus.
Oh, nice.
So when they change pose between each of those little menu tabs, there's a different animation for every character, and it's all individual.
I want to say that's not super uncommon
for these type of games, because obviously you're showing off the character.
Yeah.
But there's actually...
but they are cool.
Yes. And I know they kind of just have to do this in modern games because otherwise it would look weird. But when you're holding down your button to just do the basic attack chain, it's technically like 5 individual parts of that attack chain, because obviously you can interrupt it by doing other stuff at any point. But like each of those individual steps of the attack has a back to idle animation for all the characters.
Oh.
So if you stop attacking, and like if you're not actually attacking an enemy, every one of those animations has like an individualized back to idle pose where they like sheath their weapons and stuff.
Nice.
It's like, it's cool, but like, I mean,
But why would... I guess you could do that, like, depending on what skill you're activating. I guess that could happen at any time.
Kind of, but sort of you're not going to be doing that in any fight, because like there's no reason to stop attacking most of the time. Back to idle especially.
Right.
Because that's only a thing you'd kind of do deliberately out of battle. And also about the graphics, it's just like, I hadn't really noticed it, because I guess I don't notice graphics very much any longer, apparently. But like, the way the like textures and stuff are actually kind of impressive in some ways. And it's only a Unity game, which is actually kind of surprising in itself that they've managed to make a version, they've customized a version of Unity to make it look this good. It's not like an Unreal Engine, it's not Unreal 5 or anything.
Sure.
But like, they have a really good looking, I guess it's not really a shader, it's probably just like texturing, but like the skin looks really good. Like the soft fade shading of the skin.
Because I sort of assumed it would just, because of its somewhat anime aesthetic, that it would just kind of be flat.
No, it does just look like actual real skin.
Huh.
And then that also extends to like the textures of a lot of the clothing as well. I mean, maybe this is more obvious that they'd want to do this for show off characters type stuff, but like the textures of like soft stuff like tights and wool and stuff, that's really pretty good as well. And they also have a fairly decent looking like rain texture thing going on. So like on like hard substances like leather and metal, you get droplets, and that looks not super great but pretty good. But like all the softer materials just have a really decent like wet filter that goes over them that looks really pretty impressive as well. For when you're in the rain.
I think that's the sort of the thing that a lot of these, like, perhaps these gacha-y games have sort of managed to tap into.
Yes,
that it's like,
because that is kind of their focus in a way.
Well, yeah,
you want to look at the characters, and therefore you want them to look really good.
You want to look at the characters, and you want to actually make a game that's good enough in order to capture people that they want to find more things to look at.
Yes,
right. Like it is part of that loop to some degree, and it's like they've sort of figured that out.
Yes.
At least these top tier ones, anyway, like these and your Hoyoverse titles, and
But speaking of the gacha, there was one slight problem with the gacha this time, which I sort of has happened kind of previously, but was particularly bad in this case, which is the conflict between like the story and the gacha of the characters.
right?
Because so like this leader of the city that is now this new character. Firstly, in like the actual progress of the story up to this point, it's just been like, it's one of those classic situations where like she's incredibly overworked, she never takes a break, and she's putting all the pressure on herself, and then she comes and works for you somehow.
Yeah,
so, like,
how does that work?
It's like that doesn't make any sense. And maybe it's going to make sense in like the next patch where we finally finish the second map, and she's like, "Oh, the city is finally at peace or whatever, so I can take a break, but go work for you, I guess."
Yeah.
So it's like maybe that's just like slightly inconvenient timing on that front. But then it also kind of messed with the story because they stupidly, I guess, tried to make it seem like she was going to sacrifice herself in the story, and it's like, yeah, but she's a character. so this is obviously not going to go how the story is trying to imply it's going to go.
Yeah, can't possibly. Wow, unless it did, and then it would be like an moment, like. But then there'd be clues, right? Because you'd be able to spend money on them in some way, like.
Well, but yeah, but she's just a character that you could already get before you've even got to that part of the story.
Right. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, if it was going to be something they could take away from you, it's the wrong sort of game where they could pull that off.
Technically, in the lore of this universe, they could have done it because, like, most of the characters you can recruit, if not maybe all of them, I'm not entirely clear about this in the lore, but they're basically all clones anyway, which also kind of semi-explains why they're reusing characters from the previous game, even though the previous game is not really directly connected.
Right.
There's this weird thing where, like, the Originium stuff as well as being the miracle mineral of like energy and material science, is also a like data storage as well.
Of course.
And the administrator can like go inside the Originium and sort of physically see the data essentially.
Right.
But it also doesn't necessarily, it's not always intentional what data ends up in there. So it sort of just absorbs data from around it in some way. And also because you're constantly, one of the ways you teleport is to go through the Originium data structure, basically, because the data structure is not connected to the physical chunks of rock, so you can basically teleport from one chunk of rock to another through the data space. And because of that, it's basically absorbed the characters. So all these old characters from the previous game are essentially referred to as being a type of clone, where you've pulled them back out of the data structure, but they've been made a physical body out of the Originium.
Okay.
So it's like this weird excuse they have, basically. But it's kind of an interesting bit of lore in some ways.
I mean, I guess.
Because one of the early characters' side mission stories, the sort of character demonstration mission, is fully inside the Originium, where you see a like weird colour in the Originium, so you're like, what's going on in there? And you go in and you just find her wandering around trying to discover who she is, because her story is very inconvenient because she's a clone, and they all know that they're clones when they are clones, and they have memories from the original.
Right, because presumably the clone didn't grow up.
Yeah.
Right? So.
But like, in her case, the original version of her also had memory loss. So, like, she doesn't have proper memories, and she doesn't have old memories either. So it, like, sucks for you. But yeah.
But the Originium didn't, like, absorb what had happened to it? Or...
Yeah, that's the bit where it's like, it's kind of unclear where it's like, where does this line stop? where does the data that it absorbed stop in this character's lifetime?
Yeah, because I guess if they're just cloning what people were, then yeah, okay, sure, of course he has this detriment, but yeah, surely the Originium itself knows what used to happen to it, unless that's not how it works. It absorbs through your mind.
Yeah, maybe it only updates the last time you teleported through it or something.
Yeah, and only what you know in your head.
Yeah, because it is also implied that maybe these characters are also the reason why they are all clones is because the original 40 heroes or something died in the big battle in the past of this game, when the administrator first got into a huge fight. Because you go into stasis inside the Originium, which is why you're now, like, coming back after 10 years or whatever. To heal, I guess.
You're the Avatar.
Yeah. And sometimes that doesn't even make much sense, where it's like, it's been 10 years. Because
Of course it doesn't, it's flipping anime.
Yeah, but you're looking at these characters, and like, naturally it's like, how old are these characters? Probably like 17 to 20.
Of course, but then the usual range.
But then they're talking about, like, things, some of them know you from before, and it's like, but when you've been like 10, it's like you wouldn't have been in this military situation to even know what I was about at the time.
But their clone might have been like in their 20s,
if they are clones,
and they got recloned to be 17 again.
Yeah,
but with all the memories of their 22-year-old selves.
Yes, I feel like it's very undefined which one of them are clones, and I think that would help. Because the ones that aren't clones would have only been children the last time you were around.
Sure, yeah. But they could still know of your existence.
Sure, but not in quite such a direct way.
Yeah. Unless they're all, like, in their 30s.
Yeah, I mean, that could just be the anime thing where it's like everyone just looks
the
younger
same.
than they actually are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's probably going to be one more patch's worth of map 2. Probably, because we're still not actually done with the story, even though we've done, I guess, the big final boss of this area, which was pretty cool as far as boss fights go. If kind of weird, because you have, like, bounce pads almost.
Bounce pad. Almost.
It's just like you're fighting in an arena where the floor is this special material where you can just choose to do a big jump.
Oh, okay.
As a way to avoid, like, shockwave attacks, essentially. And then while you're in the air, the woman from the leader of the city who's lightning powered can, like, turn your down strike into a lightning strike to do extra damage. So you're just like, wait for the timing to do the big jump, and then you come down on them.
Nice.
And then you stab them a lot. and I actually used one of my rarer teams for that fight. Well, not rarer, a team that I hadn't used for a while. Because I'm like, let's bring back Team 2 of my 5 teams, because I haven't used Team 2 for a while. Oh, and I suppose that's another point of the story getting effed up by the gacha system of having a character where it's like you can go to that final boss fight and use the character who is also supporting you in the final boss fight at the same time. So there's 2 of them. That kind of classic thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like on a second playthrough, surely was that possible on your first run of it?
Yes, because you could do that. As I said, that character is the one of this patch, so it's all together at the same time.
I mean, that's less good.
Yeah.
They could have at least it makes sense. Like okay, it doesn't make sense, but it wouldn't be acceptable if it was the second time you come through it, then it's well, okay, then now you can just do this because whatever.
Although of course that doesn't solve this problem for future players, because anyone, well, except for the characters that go away, but if you had this character, but if you joined the game right now, and this character was the character you could roll for at the moment, and you got that character, you wouldn't know who it was.
Right.
But then 30 hours later, when you reach the start of the second zone, you discover who they were, and their whole freaking story where they're going to be there doing things the whole time.
It's why am I discovering this now? Yeah, okay. That's kind of weird.
But kind of unavoidable of the way the characters are going to be integrated into the story.
Well, it's not that unavoidable. Yeah, they could have just locked it away, and just been no, you actually can't use this one. Until you reach a certain part of the story.
Kind of, but then you couldn't. Then there'd be no incentive to roll for that character if you were a new player at this point.
No, it would just suck if you got it.
Yeah.
But you could just be upfront about that. Do you roll for specifics then? Is that what you mean? You actually say, I want this one?
Well, when I say, because there's the 2 character slots per patch, that when I'm saying that, it's that specific character has that's the one that has the mercy rule guarantee on it. And if you happen to roll a 6-star character through randomness, that character has a 50% chance of being the 6-star character that you get.
Okay.
So that's why it's the character of that time period,
but
essentially.
These are all arbitrary rules. They could have
Yes, they could have come up with an entirely different system, maybe. But these are kind of the rules of the gacha world. This is just how they all work. On some level. Different percentages and different chances and that kind of stuff, but... So yeah, I've finished the next 3 hours of chunk of content of that game, which included the actual boss fight, I guess. So presumably the next one will be wrap up, and maybe a bit more factory building in Zone 2. Because I haven't actually really optimized Zone 2's factory, because I think there's going to be more. I know there's not going to be more factory technology, but we've only had 3 factory plots in this area, and there was 4 in the first one.
Right.
So I might have more room to work with in the next section.
Yeah. I mean, they can narratively spin that as well. We're going to go to this place. We better get ready.
Yeah. It does seem... But I don't know if the second map is going on for too long, or whether that's just a feeling. Because when I was playing through the game... The first map was all already there, so I just played through it like a normal video game.
Right, yeah.
But in map 2, I'm having to wait a month and a half between each chunk of it. And it's is that just making it seem like it's overstaying its welcome, or is this actually longer? I can't really tell.
I mean, it's probably the former.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
So yeah, that's the adventures of Endfield continuing.
Yeah. What's the alternative? You have to wait for how many patches is there per chunk? 4, do you think? Per map part?
Well, the first map had 5 sections, and this one is looking like it might have 5 sections. So there's at least 5 patches. Although sometimes they don't even add a map section. Sometimes it's just expanding the factory in that section. Or whatever.
Because basically you're implying that the other alternative is if wearing out the welcome and because of its design like this is a problem for you, then you'd have to wait 6 or 7 months maybe before coming back to the game.
Yeah, I guess.
And then do that bit of map.
Yeah. And obviously it totally incentivizes you to do the opposite with all daily shit and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I guess I didn't mention, but the reason I got this new character is because I got it on the first roll. I got my 0.8% chance.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jeez.
Because I'm basically out of the currency now, so now I'm rebuilding the stash and picking and choosing which one character I might want. And I did want to get this one, but I got extremely lucky.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Now just give us a nature character, I guess. That's the most underrepresented type.
Element. Yeah.
And I don't know what zone 3 is going to be if we... Yeah, that's probably still another whole 3 months away, probably.
Well, yeah. And that would also be like, I guess, the trick of the last part would be like to reveal why you'd be going to some other... Introduce the next baddie.
They kind of didn't in the first section to the second section.
Oh, okay.
It's like you have a sort of over comms meeting at the end with the big three heads of the civilization or whatever at the end of section 1, and they're talking about, you know, the big bad and whatever, and saying, oh, we've got to stop them. But then they don't really decide where you're going to go. It just goes to a cutscene where it's like, here's where we're going. It's like, one didn't really seem to involve the big heads of state or whatever. It was like, we're going here next, I guess.
Like, next on our journey. The next station is Piccadilly Circus.
And it didn't even seem like it was super urgent to go here like it should have been. Because, like, this city was on the brink of falling, essentially, and the whole story that you play once you get there is about, you know, building your factory to recover, because it's like, your factory can make stuff way better than we can, so you can make stuff faster and recover the city's defences. But, like, that didn't seem to be the reason you were really going there. It seemed like quite a calm invitation compared to what actually was going on.
Would you mind?
So that's that. And that's all I played. Apart from Rocket League.
Of course.
You'll fit that in the end.
Have we got anything to say about Hyrule Warriors, actually?
I don't think we do, really,
no, still not really. I mean, we only did one main mission.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much side stuff to do in that game. And it's
not like well, I guess this main mission was kind of important because it was the Secret Stones mission when they first get them.
Yeah, so new abilities and stuff come on our way, but
not like new enough in a way that makes them useful. Yeah, that's the problem.
I mean, they're pretty potent.
They're potent, but they're still on the same fucking cooldown.
Yeah, they're still on the cooldown, so then it limits everything else you could possibly do, and the cooldown is long if you use one of those. So it's So then you're perhaps putting yourself at a disadvantage. Except maybe not, because you could just use, in the scenario we had at least, you could use that and then swap to another character and you're fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what we're not doing enough.
Swapping.
It's like just immediately swapping off a character. We probably have to start doing the thing where you order them around on the map more so they're actually in the right places.
Maybe, yeah. We haven't really had a circumstance where that's been necessary yet. But I mean, it makes sense if we've got like 4 characters in the party, because then both of us could probably be swapping around.
Yeah, between 2 of them.
But in co-op, like when you only get a mission where it's like, here's the 2 characters for this mission, it's like, well, we can't do that.
And I still keep messing up the like reaction swapping.
Right.
I still keep like, am I even hitting the right button? I don't know. I need to actually look at that UI for a minute.
I think I've been getting the other form of it, right? Not the cool. If you swap
the counter,
you've
got the attacking one.
Yeah, it's just going to do the like swap to follow up.
Yeah,
is what it seems to be suggesting to me most of the time.
But does that do anything?
No. All it does is put you in control of the other character immediately and puts them into that follow up. Like I'm charged down the enemy immediately. But that seems to happen faster than if you did like a normal swap. But not that speed of swap is any real problem at any point. But
no, I mean,
it seems like I'm not quite sure why that's there exactly. Like it doesn't necessarily feel useful. Maybe it is more in single player. Like maybe speed of swap is important. Like if you just want to maximize your damage output, but it's not a huge deal.
Well, I mean, the follow-up just gives you a giant teleport anyway, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
You just push the button and you'll zip right next to the enemy.
Yeah. But maybe you can do that like slightly quicker, like while you're the last hit of someone else, of your first character's like special is finishing or whatever.
Well, or maybe it is for like better exploiting the damage output by being able to swap directly into a character that like already has a sync or something. So as soon as the enemy goes vulnerable, you're already basically going into another thing.
Right? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, there's a lot of that game.
Well-
and I'm still not. I'm still waiting for it to get like I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, to get weird.
Oh, that
Like,
was
it
the other
just-
thing we
it
did
just-
see in that mission, though, right? We saw flux constructs that looked like they were a character
Right.
because they had the like tagging as if they were a character.
Yeah, the captain construct as well. Wasn't there something about them?
Right,
that
yeah, the
looked
guardians that were on
interesting?
your side.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So there might be they might be characters potentially at some point.
Because that's the thing we're missing still is the weird characters.
Yeah, we've got quite a few characters at this point, but none of them have got like a really outlandish mechanic, like which was pretty common in the characters. I thought from, well, not necessarily mechanic, but they were like the characters from like Age of Calamity were just kind of mental,
Yeah.
like especially the like optional ones. They were
Like a lot of these characters are just like swinging a sword or a spear or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like there's not even in the animations there isn't that much going on.
I know, and it's like, yeah, that feels like a slight because it's not like the animations are bad.
No.
It's not like they're bad to control characters. It's just like they're not like Age of Calamity set too much of like well now you're the frickin' fairy, you like the giant ass fairies that are just sprouting from this pool that is moving around the ground on the battlefield, like just weird ass shit. Like this game just doesn't have that so far, and it's like it doesn't even have like in its core move set like mental stuff. Like I will always come back to the fact that that Zelda can be a frickin' bomb tank, which is kind of nuts. Like
Sure.
in Age of Calamity.
And it also doesn't give you any opportunity to do the like unusual steps of combos, like how you like sometimes be able to do. I mean, I guess it still kind of does with like the extended steps of combos, where it's just like if you press and hold X or whatever.
Sure, or the combos that do actually leave you airborne, which are
kind of rare now.
Rare,
though.
yeah. But also like I mean, it gets rid of the pretty clunky like jump off a wall mechanic that was
Sure. But when did you ever use that? Though?
Yeah, it was so hard to do meaningfully in Age of Calamity. But, yeah, it's like it feels a bit of a shame because it's like there's clearly like, as I say, the tech is so much improved in this one. It is the better game presentationally in almost every way.
Yeah.
But it's just the sacrifice seems to have been intrigue.
Unless we just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, unless
I
it just
thought that
hasn't
was what
happened.
the secret
Yeah.
stones were going to be, but they turned out to not be. But,
Yeah, can't be as mental as we'd hoped so far.
but again, this is the thing about like comparing the lore that we already know from Tears of the Kingdom to this. It's just like there's about to be a huge gap apparently, because like we've just done the Secret Stones ceremony, which in Tears of the Kingdom lore version seems to lead almost directly into the Ganon battle.
Right, yeah, but that can't possibly be the case given
But
where
in
we
this
are.
game, there's going to be like 40 more hours in between those two scenes.
Yeah. Anyway, we managed to talk about the thing we can't talk about.
Yep.
You found a way.
Yeah. Life.
Dan, have you got anything to talk about this week?
No video game stuff, no. But you managed to fill it up with
Yep.
what stabby or
Stabby stab.
what do you call it?
That's
Stabby
just-
stab.
That's pretty much what we call it. It's like time for some stabbing. Yep.
Stabby stab. Stabby stab and extra hot chicken nugs.
No, that's the description for Endfield. Extra shot chicken nugs.
Yeah, that's Enfield. Enfield Town?
I don't think there are any bird characters. Oh, well, no, technically there are bird characters. I was going to say there aren't any, but there are. Don't think about that too much in terms of extra hot chicken nugs.
Try not to think about doing that too much.
I was already there.
Well, if you want to think about something else, you can check out our YouTube channel where we are doing playing more video games. That's what we do on there.
Play more video game.
Yeah,
Yeah, or a single game, which the game of which is Skies of Arcadia Legends. But so we're getting through that. So check that out if you want the up-to-date videos. But we have a back catalogue of plenty of other games that you can check out our Let's Plays of. And stay tuned for more Skies of Arcadia. And stay tuned. Tuned? The people don't tune in.
No one tunes anything anymore.
Stay continue
connected.
subscribed. Stay subscribed to the Saladcast, because we'll be back in 2 weeks with another one of these Saladcasts. So we'll catch you then. Bye.
Swish.